The ancients did not say you have a soul. They said you are a soul. So what happens when a soul forgets its own nature? What happens when the divine, limitless consciousness that you are believes itself to be small, separate, and finite? It begins to search. It looks outside of itself for what can only be found within. It starts to feel like a leaf in the wind, a ship without a rudder, tossed about on the chaotic seas of circumstance. You look at the world, at your life, at the people and events that fill your days, and you see them as something happening to you. A series of accidents, of fortunes and misfortunes, of things to be endured or hopefully enjoyed. You have felt this feeling of being a passenger in your own life, hoping for a smooth ride, fearing the inevitable storm. But there is a whisper, an ancient, unshakable truth that echoes in the silent moments of your life. A truth that, once heard, can never be unheard. It is the quiet suggestion that you are not the passenger. You are the captain of the ship. More than that, you are the sea itself. What if the world you perceive, the reality you experience with all its textures, triumphs, and trials, is not a solid, pre-written script? What if it is a mirror? A vast, flawless, three-dimensional mirror, reflecting with perfect accuracy the sum total of your own consciousness. It does not judge. It does not argue. It simply shows you who you believe yourself to be. This is the beginning of all true power, the realization that the outer world is a projection of the inner. That life does not happen to you. It flows from you. You are not the clay being molded by circumstance. You are the sculptor. You are not the painting. You are the painter. And your consciousness, this very awareness that is hearing these words right now, is the sacred workshop where worlds are conceived, shaped, and brought to life. The journey we are about to embark upon together is not a journey of addition, of learning new tricks to manipulate the world. It is a journey of subtraction, of unlearning the lies you have been told about your own limitations. It is a process of remembering the power you have always possessed. We will not venture outward into the noisy world of effects. We will travel inward into the profound, creative silence of cause. We will walk through the halls of your own mind, lighting the lamps in forgotten rooms and awakening the dormant creator that lies at your very center. So take a breath. Let the world outside fade away for a moment. All that is required of you is to be still and to listen. It is time to step into the workshop. It is time to remember who and what you truly are. Let us begin with the first and most fundamental law of existence. A law so simple that it is often overlooked, and so profound that it holds the key to all freedom. The world you see is not solid ground. It is a mirror. Pause for a moment and let that sink past the defenses of the logical mind. The people you encounter, the conditions you face, the triumphs that elevate you, and the tragedies that bring you to your knees, they are not random. They are not a test from an external God, nor are they the meaningless chaos of a cold universe. They are a reflection, your reflection. This principle is the bedrock upon which all conscious creation is built. Without accepting it, you will forever remain a victim of circumstance, a well-meaning but powerless soul trying to rearrange the furniture in a burning house, unaware that you hold the fire and the water in your own hands. For your entire life, you have been trained to believe the opposite. You have been taught that you are a small self inside a vast, objective world. That reality is something you must react to, contend with, and hopefully survive. You see a difficult person, and you believe the difficulty resides solely within them. You experience a lack of resources, and you believe the scarcity is a fact of the external economy. You receive a harsh judgment, and you believe the judgment originated in the mind of another. This is the great illusion. This is the dream from which you are beginning to awaken. The truth is that the world has no power to create your experience. It only has the power to reflect the experience you are creating within yourself. Like a perfectly polished, infinitely vast mirror, It has no opinion. It has no agenda. It cannot show you a frown if you are smiling. It cannot show you conflict if you are in a state of peace. It cannot show you lack if your consciousness is saturated with the feeling of abundance. It is a law, as impersonal and as reliable as gravity. It does not punish. It does not reward. It simply reflects. Now, the mind will immediately bring forth its most compelling evidence to the contrary. It will point to other people. How can that person, with their own history, their own thoughts, their own independent life, be a reflection of me? It seems absurd, but we are not speaking of the surface level of existence. On the surface, of course, that person is a separate being. But on the level of consciousness, the level of cause, they are a messenger. They have been drawn into the orbit of your awareness to play a role that you, yourself, have scripted. They are actors on your stage, speaking lines that resonate with a deep and often unconscious belief within you. Consider the person who consistently disappoints you. You see them as unreliable. But look deeper. Turn away from the mirror for a moment and look within. Is there a part of you that expects disappointment? A quiet, deep-seated belief that people will eventually let you down? That you are not truly worthy of consistent support? That belief is a silent prayer, an energetic signal you send out into the universe. The universe, in its impersonal wisdom, must answer. And so, it casts a character to play the part of the disappointer in your reality. That person is simply fulfilling the role you assigned them. They are reflecting your expectation back to you so that you may see it clearly. The same is true for the person who criticizes you. They are giving voice to your own inner critic. They are mirroring the judgments you hold against yourself. And the stranger who shows you unexpected kindness, they are a reflection of a seed of grace within you, a part of you that believes in the goodness of the world, a part of you that was ready to receive that kindness. This is not about blame. Let us be absolutely clear. To blame yourself for the negative behavior of others is to misunderstand this law entirely. Blame is the ego's trap, another way of creating separation and suffering. This is about radical responsibility, which is not a burden, but the key to your liberation. If you believe the problem is out there, in that other person, you are powerless. You must wait for them to change. You must plead, or argue, or manipulate. But if you understand that they are a reflection, you realize you have all the power. You do not need them to change. You need only to change the belief within you that is being reflected. When you truly, deeply, and fundamentally change your inner assumption about yourself and about others, the reflection in the mirror must change. The person will either change their behavior toward you, or they will gently drift out of your life, their role in your play complete, making way for a new actor who reflects your new state of consciousness. You do not change the world by wrestling with the reflection. You turn inward and adjust the source of the image. This law extends beyond people and into every circumstance of your life. Look at your physical environment, the state of your finances, the health of your body. These are not random states. They are mirrors of your dominant inner conversations and feelings. If your life is filled with chaos and disorder, look within for the inner chaos, the scattered attention, the warring beliefs. If you are experiencing persistent lack, look beyond your bank account and into your consciousness. Where are you harboring feelings of not enough? The belief that resources are limited, that you are not worthy, that life is a struggle. Your financial reality is a direct printout of these inner states. You can work tirelessly, you can struggle and strive in the outer world, but if your inner state is one of lack, you will be like a person running on a treadmill. You will expend enormous energy but remain in the same place, because the reflection of lack will persist. The world will conspire to present you with unexpected bills, with missed opportunities, with situations that drain your resources, all in perfect obedience to your inner state. Conversely, a consciousness of abundance, of deep-seated trust that you are always provided for, will be reflected as such. Opportunities will appear. The right people will show up, ideas will flow. This is not magic. It is the law of the mirror. Your inner state of trust and sufficiency is reflected as an outer world of sufficiency and flow. This is why you see people who seem to effortlessly attract success, while others, far more hardworking, continue to struggle. The difference is not in their actions, but in their consciousness. They are living from the state of having, and so the mirror reflects having back to them. So what does one do? How does one engage with this new understanding? The first and most critical step is to stop fighting the reflection. Imagine standing in front of a mirror and seeing a smudge of dirt on your face. You would not try to wipe the mirror. You would not get angry at the mirror for showing you the smudge. You would feel a quiet gratitude for its clarity, and you would calmly wipe your own face. This is the new way you must approach your life. When a negative circumstance appears, when a person acts in a way that causes you pain, the old response is to react, to blame, to wish it were different. The new response is to pause, to look at the situation or the person, and to ask a simple, powerful question: what in me is this reflecting? This question is the beginning of all self-mastery. It takes you out of the role of victim and places you squarely in the role of creator. It turns every challenge into an opportunity for self-discovery. That annoying traffic jam is no longer just an inconvenience. It is a mirror of your inner feeling of being stuck or frustrated. That criticism is no longer just an attack. It is a mirror of your own self-doubt. The empty bank account is no longer a source of panic. It is a clear, impersonal reflection of a belief in lack. See it as data. See it as feedback. The mirror of nature is your greatest teacher, for it shows you, with unflinching honesty, the work that needs to be done within. Cease all effort to change the world. Withdraw your energy from it. Do not try to convince others. Do not try to force outcomes. Do not struggle against what is. Let the reflection be as it is for a moment. Your only work is to change the being that is casting the reflection. Your only work is to transform your own consciousness. When you do this, the change in the mirror is not something you have to strive for. It is automatic. It is inevitable. You cannot smile at your reflection and see a frown. It is a law. It cannot be broken. This understanding is the gateway. To truly grasp that you are not in the world, but that the world is in you, is to stand at the threshold of a new life. It is to take back the power that you have been projecting outward onto people and conditions. You stop seeing the world as a series of solid, intimidating walls, and you begin to see it as a series of dreamlike images, projected from the light within you, all of which can be changed at the source. Now you stand before this great mirror of life, and you understand its nature. You see the reflection, and you accept it for what it is, a perfect, impersonal echo of your own inner state. You have withdrawn your energy from fighting the reflection. You are ready to change the image. But this brings us to the most vital question of all. If the mirror reflects your inner state, what exactly is that state? What is the substance that the mirror reflects? It is not your fleeting thoughts or your empty words. The substance of creation, the very thing that casts the image upon the mirror of the world, is feeling. And it is to this divine currency that we now turn our attention. If the world is a mirror, then our most urgent task is to understand the nature of the light that casts the reflection. What is the substance of creation? What is the force that impresses an image upon the formless energy of the universe, causing it to harden into what you call reality? The modern world has put its faith in the power of thought, in the discipline of positive thinking, and the repetition of affirmations. But this is like admiring the design of a boat without ever putting it in the water. A thought by itself is a cold, impotent thing. An affirmation, repeated without inner conviction, is a dead sound echoing in an empty room. You can think I am peaceful 1,000 times while your stomach is clenched in anxiety, and the mirror of the world will not reflect peace. It will reflect the clenching. It will reflect the anxiety. It will reflect the truth of your state, not the lie of your words. The language that the universe understands is not thought. It is feeling. Feeling is the prayer that is always answered. It is the living, breathing, magnetic energy that organizes the quantum field into the patterns of your life. It is the bridge between the unseen world of potential and the seen world of experience. A thought is a blueprint, but a feeling is the current that flows through the wires. Without the current, the blueprint remains just a piece of paper. You have felt this truth instinctively your entire life. You know the difference between saying "I love you" and feeling love. You know the difference between saying "I am confident" and walking into a room filled with the quiet, unshakable feeling of self-assurance. One is a sound, the other is a presence. One is a claim, the other is a reality. The great secret of creation is that the universe responds not to your claims, but to your presence. Let us use an analogy. Imagine there is a great cosmic bank. This bank holds all possibilities, all potential realities. Its vaults contain health and sickness, wealth and poverty, love and loneliness, peace and turmoil. You, as a conscious being, have an account at this bank. But the currency it deals in is not money, nor is it words or thoughts. The sole currency of this bank is feeling. Every moment of your day, you are making deposits and withdrawals. When you allow yourself to marinate in feelings of worry, dread, or resentment, you are making a withdrawal from the accounts of peace and abundance. You are, in effect, writing a check for more circumstances that will generate worry, dread, and resentment. When you consciously choose to cultivate feelings of gratitude, trust, or the quiet joy of being, you are making a massive deposit. You are funding the manifestation of more experiences that will resonate with that state. Now, the most powerful transaction you can ever make at this bank is to feel the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. This is the master key. This is not just a deposit. It is a transfer of the entire account of your desire into your present reality. You may stand before the teller of this cosmic bank and repeat the words, "I am wealthy." But if your inner state, your feeling, is one of lack and desperation, the teller only sees your vibrational poverty. It hears your words, but it checks your account balance, which is your feeling, and it must honor that. It cannot give you what you do not, in feeling, already possess. But if you can, for even a few moments, close your eyes and genuinely generate the feeling of security, of relief, of the freedom that wealth would bring you. You are showing the bank that you already have the funds. You are making the ultimate deposit. And the law states that the bank must then provide you with the external circumstances that match your inner currency. It must give you a reality where that feeling of wealth is your natural state. This is not a metaphor. It is the very physics of consciousness. Everything in your known universe, from the hardest rock to the lightest thought, is energy vibrating at a specific frequency. You, yourself, are a complex symphony of vibrations. Your dominant feeling state is your home frequency. It is the keynote of your being, the song you are constantly singing to the cosmos. Anxiety is a frantic, jagged frequency. Despair is a low, heavy frequency. Peace is a coherent, harmonious frequency. Love and gratitude are among the highest, most powerful frequencies you can embody. The law of creation, often called the law of attraction, is simply the law of resonance. Like a tuning fork that causes another nearby tuning fork of the same pitch to vibrate, your energetic frequency attracts people, conditions, and events that resonate with it. You cannot fool this law. You cannot hide your true feeling. Your body is the sounding board of your soul. If you are attempting to feel peaceful, but your shoulders are tense, your jaw is tight, and your breathing is shallow, your body is singing a song of stress. The universe hears the song of the body, not the whisper of the mind. This is why true change is an inside-out job. It begins with becoming intimately aware of your inner atmosphere. What is the emotional climate you are living in right now? Is it one of struggle and resistance, or one of ease and allowing? Be honest, there is no judgment here, only diagnosis. The first step is to simply notice the feeling state you have accepted as normal. So, how does one cultivate a new feeling, especially when external reality seems to contradict it? This is the great work. It is the art of the creator. It is not done through brute force. You cannot command yourself to feel happy when you are sad. That only creates more inner conflict. The art lies in gentle persuasion, in assumption, in occupying the desired state as if it were already true. First, stop trying to force a primary emotion like happiness. Instead, search for a more accessible, secondary feeling. Ask yourself, if my desire were a reality right now, what would I truly feel? Often the answer is not explosive joy, but something quieter and deeper. It might be relief. It might be calm. It might be a simple sense of satisfaction. These feelings, like relief or peace, are often far easier to access than a feeling of ecstatic bliss. Do not aim for the fireworks. Aim for the quiet, glowing ember of relief. Feel the muscles in your shoulders relax as you allow the feeling of the problem being solved to wash over you. That feeling of relief is a golden key. It is a powerful signal to the universe that the struggle is over. Second, immerse your senses in the desired reality. This is the bridge that leads from feeling into the workshop of imagination, which we will explore next. To generate a feeling, you must give it a sensory home. If you desire a loving partnership, do not just think about it. Feel it. What would it feel like to have a hand gently resting on your back? Conjure that specific sensory feeling. If you desire abundance, what does the feeling of security feel like in your body? Perhaps it is a warmth in your chest, a sense of solidity in your feet. Anchor the feeling in a physical sensation. Think from your wish fulfilled, not of it. To think of it is to see it as separate from you. To think from it is to make it your present reality. In that moment of sensory immersion, you are no longer asking. You are being. You are creating. Finally, you must practice the discipline of refusal. This is as important as the practice of cultivation. When the old feelings of doubt, fear, and lack arise, and they will, for they are habitual, you do not fight them. Fighting them gives them energy. You simply refuse to entertain them. You see them appear on the horizon of your mind like storm clouds. You acknowledge their presence, and you calmly withdraw your attention. You do not serve them tea. You do not invite them to stay. You simply let them pass. And gently, persistently, you return your inner focus to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is an act of supreme inner authority. It is you, the creator, choosing which reality to energize. Your thoughts are the blueprints, but your feelings are the builders. They are the masons who lay the bricks, the weavers who thread the loom. To become a master of your reality is to become a master of your inner feeling states. It is the work of a lifetime, but it is the most rewarding work you will ever do. It is the path from being a creature of circumstance to becoming the creator of your world. Now, if feeling is the sacred fire that forges reality, where is the hearth? Where is the workshop within which we can consciously and deliberately ignite these creative flames, regardless of the storms raging outside? We find this space in the most powerful, most misunderstood faculty of the human mind. We find it in the workshop of God itself. We find it in your imagination. We have arrived at the heart of the mystery, the inner sanctum where the unseen is woven into the seen. We have established that the world is a mirror, and that the substance it reflects is feeling. Now we must ask, where is this feeling generated? Where do we go to consciously create the inner state that will then be projected outward as our reality? The answer lies in the most misunderstood and most potent faculty you possess. It lies in your imagination. From childhood, you were taught that imagination is the realm of make-believe, of fantasy, a pleasant but ultimately powerless escape from the real world. This is the greatest lie you have ever been told. It is a lie designed by the rational mind to keep you small and predictable, to keep you a prisoner of the world of effects. The truth is this: your imagination is the one and only reality. It is the workshop of God. The physical world you see around you is not the real world. It is a shadow world, a delayed and faded reflection of the activity that takes place within your own wonderful human imagination. The events of your life are not forged in boardrooms or on battlefields or in the random collisions of atoms. They are forged in the quiet theater of your mind. What you imagine with faith and feeling is the only true cause. Everything else is an effect. To believe that the outer world is more real than your inner world is like believing a movie screen is more real than the projector casting the image. All power, all cause, all creation begins and ends within you. Let us use the metaphor of a sculptor. The awakened creator, which is your true self, stands before a vast, shapeless block of marble. This block of marble is the sum total of your current reality. It is your present circumstances, your past, your limitations, your facts. To the unawakened mind, this block seems solid, permanent, and intimidating. It sees only the stone. It may try to change it from the outside, chipping away at it with worry, complaining about its rough edges, or trying to paint a pretty picture on its surface. This is the life of struggle. This is the life of reacting to the world of effects. But the master sculptor, the awakened imagination, does not see the block of marble. It looks at the stone, but it sees the masterpiece. Its inner eye, its divine vision, perceives the perfect form that already exists as a potential within the whole. It knows that the final, beautiful statue is not something to be built, but something to be revealed. The work of the sculptor is not to add anything to the marble, but to take away, to remove everything that is not the masterpiece. Your desire, that state you wish to experience, is not something you need to build from scratch. It already exists as a finished reality in the infinite field of consciousness. Your work is not to create it, but to select it with your imagination, and then, with your tools, to chip away all the states of consciousness that are not your desire until it stands alone, visible and solid in your world. What are these tools? The hammer is your feeling. It is the force, the power, the passion that gives impact to your creative act. An imaginal act without feeling is like tapping the stone with a feather. It makes no impression. But an imaginal act saturated with the feeling of its reality is a powerful blow from the hammer, sending shockwaves through the substance of consciousness. The chisel, the tool that gives precision and form to this power, is your focused attention, a subject we will soon explore in depth. For now, understand that your workshop is your mind, your raw material is your awareness, and your vision is your imagination. So how does one enter this workshop and begin to sculpt? It is not an act of intense mental strain. It is an act of relaxed, controlled focus. The most fertile time for imaginal creation is the state just before sleep and the state just upon waking. In these drowsy, hypnotic moments, which the mystic Neville Goddard called the state akin to sleep, or SATS, the conscious, reasoning mind is subdued. The guard at the gate of the subconscious is sleepy. This is when you can slip past the doubts and the evidence of your senses and plant a new seed in the fertile soil of your deeper mind. The subconscious mind is the formless marble. It is utterly impersonal and receptive. It does not argue. It only accepts as true that which you feel as true. Here is the practical method. Before you drift off to sleep tonight, decide exactly what it is you desire. Then, construct a single, short, simple scene which would take place after your desire has been fulfilled. This is crucial. Do not imagine the moment you receive the money or the moment you get the good news. That implies you do not yet have it. Instead, imagine a scene that confirms it is already done. If you desire a promotion, do not imagine your boss telling you the news. Imagine a later scene, perhaps a friend shaking your hand and saying, "I can't believe you're the new manager. Congratulations." If you desire healing, do not imagine a doctor giving you a clean bill of health. Imagine yourself doing something you couldn't do before: playing tennis, climbing a mountain, dancing with abandon. The scene should be short, vivid, and full of the feeling of fulfillment. Now, enter the drowsy state. Get comfortable, relax your body, and bring this short scene into your mind's eye. But do not watch it as if you are watching a movie on a screen. You must be in the scene. You must see it from a first-person perspective. If your friend is congratulating you, you must feel the pressure of their hand in yours. You must hear their voice with your inner ear. You must see the expression on their face through your own eyes. Make it real. Give it all the sensory vividness you can muster. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you touch? What do you smell? And most importantly, what do you feel? Allow yourself to feel the thrill, the relief, the gratitude of it being a solid, accomplished fact. Once you have the scene and the feeling, loop it. Play it over and over in your imagination, like a mental lullaby. Each time you loop it, it should feel more real, more natural. Do not strain. This is an act of effortless assumption. You are simply falling asleep in the reality of your wish fulfilled. You are impressing your subconscious mind with this new truth. If your attention wanders, gently bring it back. If you fall asleep while looping the scene, you have succeeded perfectly. You have planted the seed, you have made the impression, you have sculpted the marble. Now you must let it be. The subconscious mind will now work to objectify this new reality in your world in ways you cannot even conceive. You must understand this. You are already an expert at this process. You have been using your imagination to create your reality every single day of your life. The only difference is that you have been doing it unconsciously and often destructively. What do you think worry is? Worry is the misuse of imagination. It is the art of crafting vivid, first-person, emotionally charged scenes of what you do not want. When you worry, you are entering the workshop, picking up the tools, and meticulously sculpting a statue of your greatest fears. You feel the fear in your body. You see the catastrophic outcome in your mind's eye. You hear the words of failure. You are praying for what you do not want, and you are praying with immense faith and feeling. And the law, being impersonal, must answer that prayer. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between a feared reality and a desired reality. It only knows what you impress upon it with feeling. This realization should not bring guilt. It should bring a profound sense of empowerment. The very power you have used to create lack, loneliness, and failure is the exact same power you will now use to create abundance, love, and success. You already know how to do it. You are a master creator. You have only been creating from the wrong blueprint. From this day forward, you treat your imagination with the reverence it deserves. It is not a toy. It is the control room of your universe. It is the holy of holies within you, the place where you and the unmanifested become one. It is the womb of creation, and you are its sole guardian. You have entered the workshop. You have seen the masterpiece that lies sleeping within the stone of this moment. You hold the hammer of feeling in your hand, ready to strike, ready to give life to your vision. But a masterpiece is not created with wild, unfocused blows. It requires precision. It requires a tool that can direct the awesome power of your feeling to a single point, carving away everything that is not your desired end, revealing the perfection within. That tool, the fine-tipped, diamond-hard chisel of the Creator, is your attention. If your imagination is the sacred workshop and your feeling is the raw power that fuels creation, then your attention is the master tool that directs this power. It is the fine-tipped, diamond-hard chisel in the sculptor's hand. Without it, all the feeling and vision in the world is just diffuse energy, a hammer swinging wildly without ever striking the stone. Where your attention goes, your life force flows. This is not a poetic sentiment. It is a fundamental, operational law of consciousness. What you place your attention upon, you feed. What you feed grows. What you withdraw your attention from starves. To be master of your reality, you must first become the absolute master of your attention. In your current world, there is a war being waged for this sacred resource. Every notification on your phone, every headline, every advertisement, every drama is an attempt to hijack your attention, to scatter your creative power, and to direct your life force towards someone else's agenda. A distracted mind is a powerless mind. A consciousness that flits from one thing to another is like a light bulb with 1,000 cracks. Its energy leaks out in every direction, unable to illuminate anything brightly. The first and most profound act of rebellion against a world of limitation is to reclaim your attention. It is to declare that you, and you alone, will decide where the light of your awareness will shine. Let us imagine your consciousness is like the light of the sun, vast, powerful, and all-encompassing. In its natural, unfocused state, it bathes everything in a gentle light, giving life but not dramatically altering form. Now, imagine that your attention is a powerful magnifying glass that you hold in your hand. You have the power to take the vast, diffuse light of your awareness and concentrate it into a single, white-hot point of creative fire. For years, without knowing it, you have been holding this magnifying glass over the problems in your life. You have focused your attention on your debts, and the point of light has burned the figures deeper into your reality. You have focused on a painful memory, and the lens of your attention has magnified its emotional heat until it scorches your present moment. You have focused on a fear of the future, and you have used your creative fire to literally incubate the very thing you dread. You have been a master of concentration, but you have been concentrating on your own bondage. The law is utterly impersonal. It does not care what you hold the magnifying glass over. It only obeys the focus. The moment you understand this, you are free. You realize that you can move the lens. You can deliberately, consciously take the magnifying glass of your attention away from the problem, away from the evidence of your senses, away from the old story, and hold it over your desired reality. You can focus it steadily on the imaginal scene you constructed in the workshop of your mind. You can hold it over the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When you do this, you are taking the full, undivided power of your consciousness and using it to nourish your desire. You are focusing the creative fire of the universe onto that single point, warming the seed, fueling its growth, and accelerating its birth into your physical world. This is the meaning of the ancient command to pray without ceasing. It does not mean to be on your knees all day. It means to maintain a continuous, underlying state of attention on your fulfilled desire. It is a discipline. It is the highest art form. It is the practice known as the mental diet. A diet is not just about what you consume, but also what you refuse to consume. A mental diet means you refuse to give your creative attention to any thought, any conversation, any piece of news, or any feeling that contradicts the reality you have chosen to create. This is not denial. This is discipline. Denial is seeing the smudge on the mirror and pretending it isn't there. Discipline is seeing the smudge, acknowledging it without emotion, and then immediately turning your attention away from the mirror to wash your own face. When a bill arrives in the mail, you do not deny its existence. You acknowledge it, but you refuse to hold the magnifying glass of your attention over the feeling of lack it might try to trigger. You do not spiral into thoughts of, "I don't have enough." Instead, you acknowledge the bill, and then you immediately and deliberately move the lens of your attention back to your inner reality of abundance. You might even use the bill as a prop, imagining it is a receipt for a service you were happy to pay for from your infinite supply. You see the external fact, but you choose to dwell in the internal truth. When a friend calls to complain and gossip, you do not have to be rude, but you do not have to participate. You can listen politely while keeping the lens of your attention firmly fixed on your inner state of peace and well-being. You refuse to let their reality set your creative energy on fire. Every moment of your day presents this choice. You are walking down the street. Will you place your attention on the beauty of a flower or on the crack in the pavement? You are reading the news. Will you place your attention on stories of disaster, feeding the global consciousness of fear? Or will you scan for stories of heroism and kindness, feeding the consciousness of love? Both are real in the shadow world. But you, the creator, must choose which reality you will energize and bring into sharper focus. The man who lives in a constant state of complaint will find the world provides him with an endless supply of things to complain about. The woman who deliberately places her attention on reasons to be grateful will find her world blossoms with ever more blessings. They are not living in different worlds. They are living in the same world, but using the magnifying glass of their attention to cultivate entirely different gardens. Now, a critical question arises. Does this mean I must ignore reality and live in a fantasy world? The answer is a subtle and powerful no. You do not ignore the external world. You simply stop giving it the power to dictate your inner state. You learn to see the world through the eyes of your wish fulfilled. This is the art of living in the end. When you are truly living in the assumption of your desire, you see the current, contradictory reality, not as a solid wall, but as a dissolving shadow. You look at the challenging circumstance and you think to yourself, I remember when this was a problem, seeing it from the perspective of its solution. You interact with the person who has been difficult, but you see them through a new lens, the lens of your loving assumption about them, and you give your attention only to the slightest flicker of behavior that conforms to your new vision. You are not fighting reality. You are recontextualizing it. You are infusing the present moment with the meaning of your future, fulfilled state. Your attention is no longer trapped by what is. It is freely given to the truth of what you have chosen to be. This is how you walk by faith and not by sight. Sight shows you the facts of the shadow world. Faith is your steady attention on the reality you have created in your imagination. And because the inner world is the only true cause, your faith, which is your sustained attention, must eventually reshape the outer world of sight to conform to its image. Your imagination conceives the form. Your feeling gives it life. But it is your sustained attention that holds this new creation in place, that incubates it with the warmth of your being, that protects it from the cold winds of doubt long enough for it to stabilize and be born into the world of shadows. It is the most precious resource you have. Guard it fiercely, direct it wisely. And so, you now hold the complete toolkit of the Creator. You stand in the sacred workshop of your imagination. You wield the life-giving hammer of feeling, and you hold the fine-tipped chisel of attention ready to direct the blow. You are ready to sculpt a new world, a new self, a new reality. Yet, even with the finest tools, there is a ghost in the workshop. There is a powerful, hypnotic force that can pull the chisel from your determined hand, that can turn your gaze away from your glorious masterpiece and fix it upon a flawed and broken statue in the corner. It is the anchor that keeps you tethered to a shore you desperately wish to leave behind. This force, this ghost, is the undying memory and gravitational pull of your past. You stand now in your sacred workshop, holding the tools of creation. Your imagination is the blueprint, your feeling is the power, and your attention is the directing chisel. You are ready to sculpt a new reality, but there is a ghost in the room, a presence so familiar and so powerful that it can wrest the tools from your hands before you even begin. It is the echo of everything that has ever happened to you. It is the gravitational pull of your past. The past is not dead. For most people, it is not even past. It is a living, breathing entity that stalks the hallways of the present, whispering old stories, projecting old fears onto the blank screen of the future. The greatest tragedy is not that you have experienced hardship. The greatest tragedy is that you are unconsciously using that hardship as the raw material to build your tomorrow. You are allowing the memory of what was to dictate the possibility of what can be. This must end. If you wish to create a new world, you must be willing to leave the old one behind. This is not an act of forgetting, but an act of liberation. Let us imagine your consciousness is a magnificent ship, fully equipped for any voyage. Your desired reality is a beautiful, sun-drenched island on the horizon. The sails of your imagination are hoisted high, catching the winds of your feeling. Your hand, as the creator, is steady on the wheel of attention. Everything is in place, yet the ship does not move. It strains and creaks, sometimes moving in frustrating circles, but it makes no headway toward the island. Why? Because a great, heavy anchor, forged in the fires of your past experiences, is lodged deep in the seabed of memory. Every strand of that anchor's rope is a story you tell yourself. One strand is the memory of a past failure, whispering, "You're not good enough, you'll only fail again." Another strand is a past betrayal, insisting, "You can't trust anyone, you'll only get hurt." Another is a childhood wound, concluding, "You are not worthy of love." These are not just memories. They are active, creative statements that you are affirming every time you dwell on them. You can hoist the sails higher, you can pray for a stronger wind, you can wrestle with the ship's wheel with all your might. But as long as you are anchored to the past, you will only exhaust yourself fighting against your own tether. The only way to sail to the new island is to sever the rope. To do this, you must first understand the true nature of the past. The past does not exist. It has no power and no reality outside of your own mind. Right now, the event is gone. The words have vanished into the air. The people have changed. All that remains is a neurological pathway in your brain and an energetic pattern in your body, which you, in this present moment, choose to reactivate. The past is a ghost that you feed with your current attention. When you withdraw your attention, it starves. You are not your past. You are the awareness that is aware of the past. And in that separation lies your freedom. The ultimate technique for severing the anchor is an art known as revision. It is the key to redeeming the past, to healing it in the only place it exists, within your imagination. This is not about self-deception or denying that an event occurred. It is about changing its meaning and draining it of its negative power, thereby changing its effect on your present and future. The subconscious mind, the great sculptor's marble, does not know the difference between a physically experienced event and a vividly imagined one. It is your feeling about an event that creates its legacy. By changing the feeling, you change the legacy. Here is the practice. At the end of your day, in that quiet, drowsy state before sleep, review the day's events. Do not judge them, just observe them. If you encounter a scene, a conversation, or a moment that brought you distress, anger, or anxiety, a scene you wish had gone differently, stop there. Do not wallow in the negative feeling. Instead, rewrite it. Replay the scene in your imagination, but this time, revise it to conform to what you wish had happened. If harsh words were spoken, imagine hearing and speaking words of kindness and understanding instead. If you received disappointing news, imagine receiving the news you desired. If you felt awkward or foolish, imagine yourself acting with confidence and grace. You must make this revised scene real. See it in the first person. Hear the new words. Most importantly, feel the feeling that this new version brings. Feel the relief, the joy, the satisfaction. Loop this revised, positive scene over and over until the feeling of its reality dominates your mind. Then, fall asleep in that feeling. What you are doing is profound. You are traveling back in time within your own consciousness. You are replacing a painful memory with a loving one. You are cleaning the wound. You are not lying to yourself. You are healing yourself. By doing this day after day, you are systematically dissolving the strands of the anchor rope. You are taking the events that once caused you pain and turning them into stepping stones for your new reality. A past revised can no longer produce negative effects. Think of it this way. You are a gardener, and the present moment is your rich, fertile garden. In your hands you have vibrant seeds for the future you desire to grow. But for years, you have been ignoring the fertile soil before you. Instead, you have spent your days staring at a barren patch of ground where last year's seeds failed to sprout. You poke at the dead soil, you analyze the lifeless husks, you curse the weather of a season that is long gone. This is what you do when you dwell on past hurts and regrets. You neglect the infinite creative potential of the now to mourn a then that is gone forever. This brings us to the true meaning of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not a moral duty you owe to someone else. It is not about condoning their behavior or letting them off the hook. That person may not even know or care. Forgiveness is a profoundly selfish act. It is the gardener finally turning their back on the barren patch and giving their full attention to the fertile soil of the present. To hold a grudge, to harbor resentment, is to voluntarily chain yourself to the person or event that hurt you. You are the one carrying the anchor. They are living free in your mind. Forgiveness is you deciding to cut the rope for your own sake. It is you declaring, "My peace of mind is more important than being right. My creative energy is too valuable to waste on a dead past. I release you. I let you go." In doing so, you are not releasing them. You are releasing yourself. The past is a library. It is a place you can visit for reference, to learn a lesson, but you do not live there. Your home is now. Every moment you spend reliving a past regret is a moment you are stealing from creating your desired future. Every ounce of emotional energy you give to an old grievance is energy that cannot be used to feel your wish fulfilled. Sever the anchor. Revise the painful memories. Forgive everyone, not for them, but for you. Take your power back from the shadows and bring it into the living light of this moment. When the heavy, rusted anchor of the past is finally severed, the ship of your consciousness begins to drift free. There is a moment of exhilarating lightness, a new sense of possibility. But, in this newfound freedom, a new captain often tries to seize the wheel. It is not an external enemy. It is a subtle, clever imposter who has lived within you all along, an identity built from the very memories and limitations you have just worked to release. It is the small, frightened self that believes it is separate from the whole. It is the phantom identity known as the ego. You have severed the great anchor of the past. The ship of your consciousness is, for the first time, untethered, floating in the infinite sea of the present moment. There is a sense of immense possibility, of exhilarating freedom. But into this sacred silence, a new voice emerges. It is not a booming command, but a persistent, familiar whisper. It speaks with the authority of your own thoughts, wears the mask of your own personality, and claims to be your greatest protector. This voice is the ego, the imposter king, the phantom self that now scrambles to regain control of the ship. To awaken as the creator, you must understand the nature of this phantom. The ego is not you. Let that be stated with absolute clarity. It is a mental and emotional construct, a survival mechanism your consciousness built long ago to navigate the physical world. When you were a child, you were pure, formless awareness. But to function, you needed a name, a personality, a story. The ego is that story. It is a bundle of memories, beliefs, roles, and fears that you have collected over a lifetime and mistakenly labeled as me. It is the voice in your head that never stops talking, the ceaseless narrator that comments, judges, compares, and worries. It is the part of you that feels separate, vulnerable, and in constant need of defense and validation. It is the ghost in the machine, and its primary objective is to survive. Let us envision the kingdom of your consciousness. In the center is a magnificent throne room. For years, this throne has been occupied by a puppet king. This king is your ego. It wears royal robes, a crown of anxieties, and it is endlessly busy. It issues frantic decrees. I must achieve this promotion to be worthy. It makes dramatic pronouncements. I will never recover from that insult. It constantly scans the horizon for threats. What if they reject me? What if I fail? From the outside, it looks like it is running the entire kingdom. It demands your full attention, your complete belief in its drama and its importance. It feeds on problems, on conflict, on being right, because these things reinforce its sense of self. But where is the true king in this story? The true king is your silent, aware presence, the I am. The true king is not the figure on the throne. The true king is the throne room. It is the silent space in which the puppet king performs its frantic play. It is the vast, unchanging awareness that witnesses the ego's thoughts and emotions without judgment and without interference. The true king knows that the puppet has no inherent power. Its only power comes from your belief in it. The moment you withdraw your belief, the moment you stop identifying with the puppet, it collapses into a harmless doll. The great spiritual path is not about fighting or killing the puppet king. To fight the ego is an egoic act itself. It's just another drama. The path is to simply, quietly, and persistently shift your identification from the puppet to the throne room, from the thought to the awareness of the thought. To do this, you must learn the ego's strategies. You must see its tricks so clearly that you no longer fall for them. Its first and most powerful strategy is identification with form. The ego cannot survive as formless awareness, so it latches onto things. It identifies with your body, making you believe you are your body. It identifies with your possessions, your job title, your accomplishments, your relationships. I am a doctor. I am a homeowner. I am a mother. It also identifies with internal forms, beliefs, opinions, and especially suffering. I am an anxious person. I am a victim. It creates a story, an identity, out of these forms. This is why the ego panics when forms are threatened. Losing a job is not just a practical challenge. For the ego, it is a death. A criticism is not just an opinion, it is an attack on its very existence. Its second strategy is the desperate need to be right. The ego reinforces its sense of a separate self by creating an other who is wrong. It thrives on argument, complaint, resentment, and blame. Observe this in your own life. Feel the rush of self-righteous energy when you prove someone wrong. That is the ego feeding. Feel the satisfaction of nursing a grievance. That is the ego reinforcing its borders. A creator has no need to be right. The true king, the silent awareness, sees all perspectives as part of a greater whole. It has nothing to prove and no one to defeat. To consciously let go of the need to be right is to starve the ego of its favorite food. Its third strategy is comparison. The ego lives in a state of constant comparison. Am I better than them? Am I worse? More successful? Less intelligent? More spiritual? This creates the endless, painful seesaw of superiority and inferiority. Both are two sides of the same egoic coin. One moment you feel superior, which is a temporary inflation of the ego. The next, you feel inferior, which is a painful deflation. Neither is the truth. The truth is that you are beyond compare. Your true self, the I am, has no need to measure itself against another expression of the I am. A wave does not compare itself to another wave. It knows it is simply a temporary expression of the one ocean. The ego's final and most encompassing strategy is its obsession with the past and future. The ego cannot survive in the pure, spacious awareness of the present moment. The now is its enemy. In the stillness of the present, there are no problems, no stories, no identity to defend. There is only being. So, the ego constantly pulls you away. It drags you back into the past to chew on regrets and grievances, reinforcing your identity as a victim or a failure. Or it projects you into the future to spin fantasies of anxiety and fear, reinforcing your identity as a vulnerable self that needs to worry. Your entire life, the ego has told you that the next moment is more important than this one. But salvation, liberation, and your creative power exist only in this moment. The practice, then, is one of gentle but vigilant disidentification. It is the practice of becoming the watcher. When a thought of worry arises, you do not try to suppress it. You do not argue with it. You simply notice it. You step back and say, "Ah, a thought of worry has appeared in my consciousness." You are not the thought. You are the space in which the thought is happening. When a wave of anger or sadness washes over you, you do not become the emotion. You observe it. You say, "Anger is present. I feel its energy in my body." You are not the anger. You are the awareness that is feeling the anger. In that space between the observer and the observed, your freedom is born. You stop being the puppet, and you start remembering you are the silent, spacious throne room. The ego is not your enemy. It was a necessary scaffold for your development. You needed it to build a functional life. But you are not the scaffold. You are the magnificent cathedral it was built to protect. The time has come to let the scaffold fall away, to see it for the temporary structure it is, and to claim your identity as the vast, sacred space within. As you learn to observe the puppet king without obeying its frantic commands, you will notice it has a favorite weapon, a tool it uses above all others to recapture your belief and keep you locked in its small kingdom. It wields the phantom sword of doubt and the heavy shield of fear, pointing them always toward the future you dare to imagine. As the ego feels its grip on your identity begin to loosen, it deploys its most ancient and trusted weapon. It is not a force of attack, but one of insidious corrosion. It is a cold whisper in a quiet moment, a sudden, chilling feeling that you are being a fool. It is the shadow that falls across your heart just when you begin to feel the warmth of your new creation. This weapon is doubt. It rises from the depths of your conditioning to challenge your divine authority. It points to the solid-seeming walls of your current reality and asks, "Who are you to believe you can change all this with just a feeling? Be realistic. Look at the facts. This is how things are." The first and most critical thing you must understand is this. Doubt is not a stop sign. It is not a signal from the universe that you are on the wrong path. It is the opposite. Doubt is a threshold guardian. Its appearance is proof that you are moving. It never appears when you are standing still, safely within the prison walls of your past limitations. It only shows up when you approach the gate, when you dare to claim a reality that your history does not yet support. Doubt is the friction created when your new, chosen reality begins to overwrite the old program. It is the sound of the old paradigm cracking. Therefore, when doubt appears, you should not despair. On some level, you should learn to welcome it, for it is a sign that your magic is working. Let us see doubt for what it truly is. Imagine the gate to your new reality, the life you have conceived in your imagination. Standing guard before this gate is a figure cloaked in shadow, holding a long scroll containing a detailed list of all your past failures, all your limitations, and all the logical reasons why your desire is impossible. This is the gatekeeper of doubt. It looks formidable, and its voice is chillingly familiar because it sounds exactly like your own rational mind. But you must understand its origin. This gatekeeper was not created to be your enemy. It was appointed by you long ago, in a moment of great pain. It was born from a heartbreak, a failure, a deep disappointment. In that moment, you gave it one single instruction: never let me feel this pain again. And it has been a loyal servant. Its sole purpose is to protect you from potential hurt by keeping you away from anything new, anything unknown, anything that might lead to another failure. It is a loyal but deeply traumatized guard whose vision is permanently fixed on the past. When you declare your intention to walk through the gate to a new reality, it sees only the risk. It holds up its scroll and says, "Remember what happened last time? It's not safe out there. Stay here, where at least the pain is familiar." For years, you have argued with this gatekeeper. You have tried to logically prove to it why this time will be different. You have fought with it, struggled against it, and tried to destroy it. But this is a battle you can never win, because to fight the gatekeeper is to validate its authority. It proves to it that there is indeed a threat, and it must hold the gate even more tightly. The path to freedom is not through conflict, but through compassion and a quiet reclaiming of your own authority. The practice is to befriend the shadow. You approach the gatekeeper. You do not cower before it, nor do you raise a weapon against it. You look upon it with understanding. You speak to it in your heart. I see you, you say. I understand that you are here to protect me. I am grateful for your years of loyal service. Thank you, but your watch is over. I am no longer that frightened person who appointed you. I am the king of this land now, and I am choosing to walk through this gate. You do not need to understand my reasons. You are simply relieved of your duty. And then, you turn, and without waiting for its permission, you walk through the gate. You let the shadow be, but you no longer grant it the power to stop you. You are not banishing it. You are retiring it with honors. It may follow you for a while, whispering its worries, but its voice will grow fainter as you walk further into the light of your new reality. The gatekeeper's most powerful argument, the evidence it will wave in your face continuously, is the evidence of your senses. It will point to the mirror of your world. Look, it will insist. Your bank account is still empty. Your body still feels the pain. That person still has not called. These are the facts. Your imagination is a fantasy. This is the great test of the Creator. It is the pivotal moment where you must choose what you believe is real. The shadow of the past, your current circumstances, or the substance of the future, your imaginal act. The facts of your life are old news. They are the lagging, residual reflection of a former state of consciousness which you have already replaced. To doubt your new creation based on the evidence of the old one is to mistake the echo for the original sound. It is like planting a new seed and then seeing no sprout the next day, declaring that the laws of agriculture are a lie. Creation requires a period of gestation in the dark. It requires your faith, which is your sustained attention on the unseen reality, even when, and especially when, the outer world screams its contradiction. When doubt points to the facts, you must persistently and peacefully withdraw your attention from them and place it back on the inner truth. Acknowledge the fact without emotion. Yes, I see that figure in my bank account, and then immediately return to the feeling of security and abundance within. This is the discipline. You are choosing which world to inhabit, which reality to water with your precious attention. You can even learn to use doubt as a compass. The intensity of the doubt that arises is often directly proportional to the significance of the change you are making. Creating a parking space might generate a flicker of doubt. Manifesting a revolutionary career change or profound healing will likely summon a much more formidable-looking gatekeeper. When a great wave of doubt washes over you, when you feel you are being utterly foolish, you can learn to smile. You can recognize it as a confirmation from the universe. Ah, I am aiming high. I am rattling the very foundations of my old reality. This creative act is a powerful one. Doubt becomes a milestone, a marker on the road that tells you that you have left the paved streets of the known and are now venturing into the wild, fertile territory of the new. You do not need to eliminate doubt to create. This is a vital secret. Waiting for all doubt to vanish before you act is the ego's trick for keeping you frozen forever. You only need to stop giving it your belief. You let it be the background noise, the static on the radio, but you keep your ear tuned to the clear music of your fulfilled desire. You let the shadow whisper, but you no longer allow it to steer the ship. You give your faith, your focus, and your feeling not to the shadow of what was, but to the light of your own wonderful human imagination. When you learn to walk past the gatekeeper of doubt without asking for its permission, you prove to yourself that you are its master. And in doing so, you become ready for one of the most profound and potent practices of the conscious creator. You move beyond mere wanting or hoping. You are ready to master the high art of simply deciding your desire is true. You are ready for the art of assumption. You have walked past the gatekeeper of doubt. You have refused to give power to the shadows of your senses. You are now standing in a place of immense potential, ready to engage in the highest form of prayer, the most direct method of creation. This is the art of assumption. This is the point where you cease all seeking, all begging, all hoping, and you begin the sacred work of being. The world has taught you to pray for things. You ask a distant power for health, for wealth, for love. But this very act of asking powerfully affirms the fact that you do not have it. You are praying from a state of lack, and so the mirror of the world can only reflect more lack back to you. The prayer of the Creator is entirely different. It is a prayer of assumption. It is the audacious, divine act of claiming as true what your senses and your history deny. An assumption, if you persist in it, will harden into fact. This is the great secret. Creation is not about acquiring something you do not have. It is the art of becoming conscious of what you already are and what you already possess in the infinite, unseen reality. An assumption is a declaration of truth made in the high court of your own consciousness. It is you, the king, decreeing how things are, and then watching as your kingdom, the outer world, rearranges itself to reflect your decree. You stop asking, you start assuming. To understand this art, let us use the metaphor of a master actor on the grand stage of life. For years, you have been playing a specific role. Perhaps it is the role of the one who struggles, the one who is always overlooked, the one who is unlucky in love. You have played this part so long and so well that you have mistaken it for yourself. You know the lines by heart. You are intimately familiar with the feelings of disappointment and longing, and you wear the costume of that character every single day. Now you, the creator, decide you wish to play a new part. You write a new script, the script of the person who is abundant, cherished, and divinely guided. A poor actor, an amateur, would stand on the stage holding this new script, but still wearing their old costume and speaking their old lines. They might read the new lines aloud, "I am wealthy, I am loved," but their posture, their tone, their feeling would all betray their disbelief. They are acting as if they are acting. This is the futility of repeating affirmations without inner conviction. You are essentially telling the universe, "I am pretending to be this new person." And the universe, honoring your true state, responds by giving you more circumstances in which you have to pretend. But a master actor, a truly great artist, approaches the role differently. They do not try to become the character. They absorb the script, and then they become it. They find a character within themselves. They begin to think from the perspective of the character. They ask, "If I were this person, how would I walk? How would I speak? How would my inner conversation sound? How would I view the world?" They do not stand on the stage looking at the throne and wishing they could sit on it. They mentally and emotionally assume the feeling of the crown upon their head, the weight of the royal robes on their shoulders. They start to be the king before they ever speak a line. This is the art of assumption. You mentally and emotionally clothe yourself in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You stop thinking of your desire, which keeps it at a distance, and you start thinking from it. How is this done in practice? It is an inner discipline, a conscious changing of your mental diet. First, you must become aware of your inner conversations. Your mind is talking all day long. What is the nature of its chatter? Is it a conversation of lack, complaint, and worry? The person you desire to be would not be having those conversations. A person who is truly secure and wealthy does not spend their day mentally rehearsing poverty. A person who is blissfully in love is not having imaginary arguments with their partner. You must begin to consciously change your inner talk to match the talk of your fulfilled desire. In the privacy of your own mind, you begin to speak as if it were already done. You have conversations with friends in your imagination, where they are congratulating you on your success. You hear the words, you feel the thrill. You are playing the part, internally, with full conviction. Second, you must practice reacting to the world from your assumption. When an external event occurs that seems to contradict your desire, you have a choice. The old self, the old character, would react with fear, anger, or despair. But the new character, the person you are assuming you are, would react differently. If you are assuming the state of wealth and an unexpected bill arrives, you do not panic. The character of the wealthy person would see it and react with calm, knowing it is a small thing, easily handled. You practice this new reaction. You may not feel it fully at first, but you act it out internally. You are rehearsing your new role. By consistently reacting from your assumption, you make that assumption feel more and more natural. This feeling of naturalness is the key. An assumption must be persisted in until it becomes your dominant feeling, your natural state of being. At first, it may feel forced. It may feel like a lie. That is simply the old character, the ego, resisting its own dissolution. Your job is to ignore that resistance and gently, lovingly, persistently return to the feeling of your assumption. How would it feel if it were true? It would feel natural. It would not be a state of giddy excitement. That is the feeling of having just received something you didn't have. The feeling of already possessing it is one of calm, of peace, of quiet satisfaction, of naturalness. You must persist until the thought of your desire not being true feels more strange than the thought of it being true. When your assumption achieves this state of subjective reality, it has no choice but to objectify itself in your world. A common fear that arises here is this not delusion? Am I not simply lying to myself? Let us distinguish between the two. Delusion is insisting on a reality that your inner state wholly contradicts. It is shouting, "I am peaceful," while being consumed by inner turmoil. Assumption is the disciplined art of deliberately changing your inner state first, with the absolute faith that the outer state is a slave to the inner one. You are not lying to yourself. You are commanding yourself. You are issuing a decree to the only power that can actually create your own subconscious mind. All that you now accept as real was once an assumption. The chair you are sitting on was first an assumption in a designer's mind. The language you are hearing was built from assumptions agreed upon by generations. Every great scientific discovery began by assuming something to be true that contradicted the facts of the day. You are not deluding yourself. You are participating in the same creative process that has built worlds. To assume the state of your wish fulfilled is the most direct path to its realization. You are bypassing the noisy, chaotic world of effects and going straight to the silent, omnipotent world of cause. You are no longer a beggar pleading with the reflection in the mirror. You are the one standing before the mirror, calmly changing your own expression, knowing the reflection has no choice but to obey. You assume the throne in the kingdom of your mind, and the world of men and nature will rush to bring you your crown, your scepter, and your kingdom. To assume the part of the king is a powerful act of inner authority. But how do you make this performance convincing to the most important audience, your own subconscious mind? How do you generate the authentic conviction that makes the role real? The secret does not lie in the lines you recite, but in the genuine emotion that animates the part. The secret, as always, lies in the currency of the universe. It lies in the feeling. You have assumed the role of the creator. You have stepped into the part of the person you desire to be, walking in their shoes in your imagination. But an assumption, a role played without genuine emotion, is a hollow crown, a lifeless performance. The universe is not a logical machine that responds to the correctness of your thoughts. It is a vast, resonant field of consciousness that responds to the language it speaks, the language of feeling. This is the great secret, the pulsating heart of all creation. Feeling is the fiery-tongued prophet that declares a thing to be, and it is the humble amen that accepts it as done. It is the beginning and the end of the creative act. For too long, you have been told to focus on the image, the visualization. You have spent hours trying to paint a perfect mental picture of your desire. But an image without feeling is a photograph of a banquet to a starving man. It is a dead form. The picture does not create. The power that gives life to the picture the electricity that makes the image project upon the screen of space, is the feeling it generates within you. You could hold the clearest image of wealth in your mind, but if you feel the chilling pang of lack in the pit of your stomach, you are praying for lack and using the image of wealth to mock yourself. The subconscious mind is not impressed by the clarity of your mental images, but by the intensity of your feeling. Let us use a simple analogy. The universe is like an infinite radio broadcast. Every possible reality is a song, playing on its own specific frequency. Right now, the song of joy is playing. The song of sorrow is playing. The reality of vibrant health is playing. The reality of sickness is playing. They all coexist as silent, potential frequencies. You are a living radio receiver. Your consciousness is the receiver, and your feeling state is the tuning dial. You can only experience the song, the reality to which you are tuned. If your feeling state, your habitual mood, is tuned to the frequency of anxiety, 98.2 FM, you will experience a life filled with static, with worrisome news, with circumstances that generate more anxiety. That is the only song that can play on that frequency. Meanwhile, the beautiful symphony of peace and abundance is playing clearly and powerfully on 101.5 FM, but you cannot hear it, not because it isn't real, but because you are not tuned to it. The work of the Creator is not to try and change the song that is playing. It is not to yell at the radio or analyze why the news is so bad or try to fix the speakers. The work is to simply, calmly, and deliberately reach out and change the station. You change the station by changing your feeling. You do not have to create abundance. You only have to tune in to the frequency of abundance. You do not have to create love. You only have to tune yourself to the frequency where love is the dominant broadcast. How do you do this? You generate the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You are not pretending. You are actively retuning your entire being to a new vibrational reality. When you succeed in embodying this new feeling, you have changed the station. And then, the new song, the new reality, must play. It is the law. But where do you feel? You do not feel in your head. The mind is where thoughts, race, and images flicker. You feel in your body. The body is the sounding board of the soul. It is the rich, dark earth where the seeds of feeling take root. To truly impress the subconscious mind, the feeling must be embodied, it must be felt somatically. This is the bridge that takes this teaching from abstract philosophy to tangible, living reality. Your body must be the first to hear the good news. Let us try a small experiment. For a moment, think of a time in your life when you felt a profound sense of relief. Perhaps it was after a difficult exam was over, or when you heard good news you had been anxiously awaiting. Do not focus on the details of the event. Focus on the physical sensation of relief itself. Where did you feel it? Did your shoulders drop an inch? Did you let out a deep sigh? A breath you didn't know you were holding? Did you feel a warmth spread through your chest, a sudden lightness in your limbs? That physical signature is the language your subconscious mind understands. It is the truth of relief. Now, apply this to your desire. What is the dominant feeling you would experience if your desire were a solid, accomplished fact right now? For many, it is not wild excitement, but this same profound relief. The relief of knowing the struggle is over. The relief of knowing you are safe. The relief of knowing you are loved. The relief of knowing you are healed. This feeling is your destination. Before you sleep, instead of wrestling with a detailed imaginal scene, simply lie down and begin to generate that physical sensation of relief in your body. Let your shoulders drop. Breathe out that long, slow sigh of completion. Let the warmth of fulfillment spread through you. Wear this feeling like a comfortable, weighted blanket. In doing so, you are not just thinking about your desire, you are letting your entire body know that the battle is won. You are tuning the receiver, physically, to the station where your desire is the only song playing. This practice evolves beyond a momentary act into the cultivation of a new mood. Your mood is your emotional home, the climate of your inner world. It is your true prayer, the one you are praying every moment of the day. You must become the conscious curator of your inner atmosphere. If someone were to walk into the home of your mind, what would they feel? Would it feel frantic, cluttered, and anxious? Or would it feel peaceful, orderly, and filled with a quiet light? This is not about forcing a plastic smile on your face or pretending to be happy when you are not. It is about choosing the underlying emotional keynote of your day. You can be having a challenging day externally, but you can still choose to return, again and again, to an inner mood of all is well. You can cultivate the atmosphere of everything is working out for me. This sustained mood acts as a powerful magnetic field, subtly arranging the people, conversations, and events of your day to conform to its nature. Do not seek the thing you desire, seek the feeling of the thing. For in finding the feeling, you have found the cause, the substance, the very reality of the thing itself, and its appearance in your outer world is now merely a matter of time. The feeling is the alpha and the omega. It is the desire that initiates the quest, and it is the feeling of Sabbath, of rest, of knowing it is finished, that completes it. You are the artist, and feeling is your paint. You can paint a masterpiece of joy or a tragedy of sorrow. The choice, always, is yours. When you truly grasp that you can generate any feeling state within yourself, regardless of external conditions, and that this feeling is the creative power itself, a profound and liberating truth dawns upon you. The entire paradigm of struggle and effort collapses. You realize that you no longer need to prove yourself. You no longer have to earn your desires through toil and sacrifice. You understand, at last, in the core of your being, that you are already worthy. You have explored the great secret. That feeling is the language of God, the currency of creation. You understand that by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are tuning your being to the reality where it is already so. But as you stand on this precipice of infinite power, a deep, primal question emerges from the shadows of your soul. It is a question you have been taught to ask your entire life. But am I worthy of it? Have I done enough, sacrificed enough, suffered enough to deserve this joy, this peace, this abundance? This question is the bars of an invisible cage that has imprisoned humanity for millennia. It is the toxic, silent assumption of unworthiness that lies beneath almost every struggle, every fear, and every act of self-sabotage. From your first day, you were initiated into a world that taught you that worthiness is conditional. It is a prize to be won, a reward for good behavior, for high achievement, for conforming to the expectations of others. It was a tool used to control you, to make you compliant, to make you strive in directions that were not your own. You were taught that you were born in a state of lack, a flawed being who must spend a lifetime atoning for your imperfections, earning your place, proving your value. Let these words sink into the deepest part of you. This is the most profound and damaging lie you have ever been told. Worthiness is not something you achieve, it is something you accept. It is not a destination you arrive at after a long and arduous journey. It is the ground upon which you have always been standing. Your worth is not determined by your actions, your thoughts, your successes, or your failures. Your worth is inherent. It is absolute. You are worthy simply because you exist. Consider the sun. It rises each morning, bathing the world in light and warmth, giving the energy that sustains all life. Does the sun pause to decide who is worthy of its light? Does it measure the virtue of the flower before allowing it to bloom? Does it demand that the sinner repent before it warms their skin? Does the ocean have to prove its worthiness to receive the light that makes it sparkle? The sun does not operate on a system of merit and reward. The sun simply shines, because shining is its nature. In its unconditional shining, it bestows life and value upon everything it touches. You are a direct expression of the same creative power that shines as the sun. The universe does not have a committee that debates your case and decides if you have earned your desires. The very nature of Source is to give, to express, to become. Its nature is to radiate. Your true nature is to receive, to allow, to experience. To believe you are unworthy is to stand in the full, glorious light of the sun while holding a thick umbrella over your head, and then lamenting the cold and the darkness. The light is always shining. The love is always being given. The abundance is always flowing. Your only work is to have the courage to lower the umbrella of your false belief in your own insufficiency. For your entire life, you have operated under the tyranny of, I will be worthy when. I will be worthy of love when I have the perfect body. I will be worthy of abundance when I have worked myself to the point of exhaustion. I will be worthy of peace when I have solved all my problems. Do you see the trap? It is a finish line that constantly moves. It places your wholeness forever in the future, just beyond your reach. It is the ego's favorite game, for it keeps you in a state of perpetual striving, forever seeking validation outside of yourself, ensuring that you never discover the power you hold within. The universal law of creation is not a negotiation. You do not bargain with gravity. You do not have to perform good deeds for a week before gravity agrees to keep you on the ground. You simply align with its principle. It is the same with creation. You do not have to earn the right to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The assumption itself is the only requirement. The feeling itself is the only price of admission. Your desire is not a prize for good behavior. The very fact that you can desire something is the universe's signal to you that the fulfillment of that desire exists as a possibility for you. Your desire is your permission slip. Your worthiness is contained within the desire itself. God does not tease. The source of all does not plant a desire within you without also providing the means for its fulfillment. You are worthy of your desire because you are capable of conceiving it. You must stop looking to the world to validate you. You must stop waiting for permission to feel good, to feel loved, to feel whole. This is the great turning point. It is the practice of self-bestowal. You must begin to give to yourself that which you have been begging the world to give you. If you desire love, you must stop seeking a person to make you feel loved and begin to generate the overwhelming feeling of love from within for yourself. You must fill your own cup until it overflows. If you desire respect, you must begin by treating yourself with profound respect, honoring your time, your energy, and your dreams. You anoint yourself, you crown yourself. You stop being the beggar at the feast, and you realize you are the host, and the feast has been prepared for you, by you, all along. This is not an act of arrogance. Arrogance is the ego's compensation for a deep feeling of unworthiness. This is an act of profound humility. It is the acceptance of a divine gift. It is the simple, honest recognition of your true nature as a beloved and integral part of the universe. When you stop trying to earn your place, you can finally relax into it. You stop acting from a place of desperate, needy energy, which repels the very things you want. When you know you are worthy, you no longer need the desire to be fulfilled in order to feel whole. This puts you in an incredibly powerful creative position. You can desire from a place of wholeness, of playfulness, of curiosity, rather than from a place of lack. The desperate energy is gone, and in its place is a calm, magnetic certainty. You are not a flawed, broken being trying to patch yourself together to become whole. You are a whole, magnificent being who has been taught to believe you are broken. You are a king who has been hypnotized into believing he is a pauper. Your existence is your certificate of worthiness, signed and sealed by the cosmos itself. Breathe that in. Let it dismantle the old structures of guilt and shame. You are worthy. You have always been worthy. You will always be worthy. There is nothing you can do to increase your worth, and there is nothing you have ever done that could possibly diminish it. When you finally, truly accept your own unconditional worthiness, a great weight lifts from your shoulders. A lifetime of struggle dissolves. the frantic need to control the outcome of your creations, to force them into existence to prove your value, simply vanishes. This realization frees you to engage with the creative process in an entirely new and liberated way. It allows you to gracefully let go of the two great tyrants of manifestation, the two questions that have sabotaged countless dreams, the crippling question of how and the torturous question of when. Having accepted your own unconditional worthiness, you have lowered the umbrella of doubt and stepped into the full light of your creative power. The desperate, needy energy that once fueled your desires has begun to dissolve, replaced by a quiet confidence. But even for the confident creator, there remains a final, seductive trap. It is the habit of the logical mind to immediately ask two questions the moment a desire is born. How will it happen? And when will it arrive? These two questions, the how and the when, are the final battleground of the ego. They are the mind's last-ditch attempt to seize control of a process that does not belong to it. To truly walk as a master creator, you must learn to gracefully and completely release your grip on them. Your role in the creative partnership with the universe is specific and powerful. Your job is to define the what and to embody the why. The what is the end result, the fulfilled desire, conceived with clarity in your imagination. The why is the feeling, the state of being that this fulfillment brings. That is the beginning and the end of your work. The how, the when, the who, and the where are not your concern. They are the domain of the infinite intelligence of the subconscious mind, the universal consciousness that has pathways and resources at its disposal that your limited, rational mind cannot even begin to comprehend. To insist on managing the how is the delusion of the creator. It is the king, having decreed a grand celebration, running down to the kitchens to frantically stir the pots and arrange the chairs. In doing the work of the servant, you abdicate the power of the throne. Let us use the simple, profound metaphor of the gardener and the seed. You, the gardener, choose a seed with care. This is you choosing your desire. You prepare the soil, making it rich and receptive. This is you entering a relaxed, meditative state. You plant the seed firmly in the ground. This is your imaginal act, the moment you impress the subconscious mind with your desire. You water the seed with deep feeling. This is you assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now, what does the wise gardener do? They walk away, they trust, they have faith in a process that is larger than themselves. They trust the seed's innate intelligence to germinate. They trust the soil to provide nourishment. They trust the sun and the rain to do their part. The gardener's work is done. Their new work is to simply tend the garden, to protect the space, and to wait with peaceful expectation. But the anxious gardener, the one who does not trust the process, is consumed by the how and the when. They dig up the seed every morning to see if roots have formed. They frantically check weather charts, trying to control the uncontrollable. They hover over the spot, their anxious energy blocking the light. In their obsessive need to control and verify the process, they inevitably disrupt it, and the seed dies in the ground. Every time you find yourself mentally plotting, planning, and worrying about how your desire will come to you, you are digging up the seed. Every time you feel a pang of despair about when it will manifest, you are casting a shadow over the fertile soil. Your interference, born from a lack of faith, is the only thing that can truly delay or prevent the harvest. Your conscious mind, based on its limited experience, can only see a few possible pathways to your goal. These are the tiny, rickety footbridges of logic. To get the money, I must get this specific job. To find my partner, I must go to this specific event. If these few pathways seem blocked, the mind concludes that the goal is impossible. But the universal mind, the master architect, sees an infinite number of pathways. It can construct a magnificent bridge for you. A bridge made of 1,000 seemingly unrelated events, which Neville Goddard called the bridge of incidents. It can arrange a chance encounter, a random phone call, a sudden urge to visit a place you've never been. It can inspire an idea in someone else's mind that will ultimately benefit you. It can weave together the lives and actions of countless people to create the perfect pathway to your fulfilled desire. Your job is not to design this bridge. Your job is to walk across it. You do this by being sensitive to your intuition, to those gentle nudges and sudden urges that seem to come from nowhere. But if you are stubbornly fixated on your own limited plan, on your own rickety footbridge of how, you will not even see the grand bridge the universe is building for you. You will be standing on the riverbank, complaining that there is no way across, while a golden path is shimmering right beside you. To obsess over the how is to tell the infinite intelligence of the cosmos that you, with your tiny, three-dimensional view of reality, know better. It is the ultimate act of creative arrogance, and it is born entirely of fear. Then there is the second tyrant, when. The fixation on a timeline is one of the most common ways a creator sabotages their own work. Your linear perception of time is a feature of this physical reality, but it is not the framework in which creation occurs. In the realm of consciousness, in your imagination, there is only the eternal now. Your desire is not in the future. Its reality is now. The time it takes for it to appear in your physical world is simply the time it takes for you to achieve a state of complete naturalness and conviction in your assumption. The delay is not a punishment from the universe. The delay is the measure of your own wavering. The more you focus on the when, the more you affirm that it has not happened yet, and you push it further away. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy of waiting. The practice is to let go of the stopwatch, to become so completely absorbed in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, now that the when becomes irrelevant. When you are truly satisfied in your imagination, when you have had the inner feast, the desperate hunger for the physical manifestation subsides. It is replaced by a quiet, peaceful knowing. You know that it is done. You know that it is coming. And in that state of knowing, you are no longer digging up the seed. You are allowing it to grow in its own perfect time, in its own perfect way. This act of letting go, of detaching from the outcome and the process, is the ultimate expression of faith. It is you, the creator, signing the order form and then trusting the master chef in the cosmic kitchen to prepare and deliver your meal. You do not run into the kitchen to tell them how to cook. You do not tap your fingers on the table every 5 seconds, asking when the food will be ready. You simply relax into the joyful anticipation of a meal you know is coming. Define your destination with crystal clarity. Embody the feeling of having already arrived, and then release the map and the stopwatch into the hands of the infinite. Trust the journey. This profound act of release, of trusting the process completely after you have done your sacred inner work, leads to a state of deep and powerful peace. It is a state of conscious rest, not of lazy inaction. It is the Creator's Sabbath, the moment of knowing that the work is done and that its appearance is now beautifully, wonderfully, and divinely inevitable. Having released your grip on the tyrants of how and when, you arrive at a place of profound stillness. You have done the sacred work. You have chosen your desire, entered the workshop of imagination, clothed yourself in the feeling of its reality, and detached from the outcome with serene trust. Now comes the final, and perhaps most misunderstood, stage of creation. It is the culmination of your faith, the seal upon your inner work. It is the conscious entrance into a state of being known as the Sabbath. In your old understanding, the Sabbath may have been a day of the week, but for the Creator, the Sabbath is a state of consciousness. It is a sacred, creative pause. It is the moment after God, in the biblical allegory, created the heavens and the earth, and then, on the seventh day, rested. This rest was not because of exhaustion. It was a declaration of completion. It was the deep, resonant knowing. It is finished. It is good. This is the state you must now enter. It is a cessation of all anxious, creative labor. The work in the causal realm, the world of imagination, is done. Any further effort, any further anxious striving is not only unnecessary, it is an act of undoing what you have already perfectly created. The ego, the restless mind, finds this concept intolerable. The ego believes that value comes only from doing, from struggling, from effort. To rest feels like laziness, like giving up. But the Sabbath is not lazy inaction. It is the most potent form of active faith. Only the master creator knows how to truly rest. The amateur, lacking faith in the creative law and in their own power, is always fidgeting. They are constantly checking their work, questioning their technique, worrying if they did it right. The master, having performed the inner act with love and attention, simply lays down their tools and trusts the process. The Sabbath is your declaration of trust in the unseen. Let us make this intensely practical. Imagine you have gone online and ordered a beautiful, custom-made item that you have desired for a very long time. You have browsed the catalog of infinite possibilities. You have selected the exact item you want, your desire. You have meticulously entered your shipping address and payment details, your focused imaginal act. You have clicked the Confirm Purchase button, and you have felt that little thrill of satisfaction as the screen reads, "Thank you. Your order is confirmed," assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. What is your state of mind in the days that follow? Do you panic? Do you call the company hourly, asking, "Did you get my order? Are you sure you're making it? When will it ship?" Do you check your bank account obsessively to make sure the payment went through? Of course not. To do so would be absurd. You would be acting as if you have no faith in the company, in the postal service, or in the very system of commerce. Instead, you enter a state of peaceful, happy anticipation. You know it is paid for. You know it is being prepared. You know it is on its way. You go about your life, not forgetting your order, but remembering it with a quiet joy. That state of trust, that peaceful expectation, is the Sabbath. This is precisely the state you must cultivate after your inner creative work is complete. You have placed your order with the universe. You have paid for it in full with the divine currency of your feeling and your focused imagination. To now descend into worry is to call the cosmic warehouse and say, "Cancel my order. I don't really believe it's coming." To obsess over the how is to try and hijack the delivery truck. To despair over the when is to sit by your mailbox, refusing to leave, and in doing so, you miss the delivery person knocking at your back door. This creative rest is a state of profound inner quietude regarding your desire. The mental struggle ceases. You no longer feel the need to force the visualization or to strain to feel the feeling. You may still think of your desire, but the quality of the thought has changed. You are no longer thinking of it with longing. You are thinking from it with a sense of pleasant ownership. It is no longer a future potential. It is a present, factual reality that is simply on its way to you in the physical world. It is the difference between looking at a travel brochure for a beautiful island and looking at your confirmed plane ticket to that island. Both are images, but one is rooted in wishing, the other in knowing. What do you do if doubt arises during your Sabbath? And it may, for the old habits of the ego die hard. When the gatekeeper of doubt appears, whispering that you've been a fool, you do not get up and go back to work. You do not re-enter the workshop and start sculpting again. To do so would be to admit that the first act was not perfect, that it was not finished. Instead, you simply remind yourself with gentle authority, "It is done. The order is confirmed. I am in my Sabbath." You treat the doubt as a faulty notification from the shipping company, an error in the system. You acknowledge it and you dismiss it, returning your mind to its state of peace. The Sabbath is not a void, it is a powerful magnetic state. Your peace is your power. Your trust is a vacuum that pulls your desire out of the unseen and into the world of form. The frantic, anxious energy of neediness repels. The calm, confident, restful energy of knowing attracts. In your quiet, you become irresistible to your own creation. In this state, you may find yourself inspired to take action in the world. But this action will feel different. It will not spring from anxiety or a need to make it happen. It will feel effortless, joyful, and spontaneous. It will be the natural next step. This is you, walking the bridge of incidents, not out of effort, but out of beautiful, relaxed alignment with the flow of the universe. To work in imagination is the sacred labor. To rest in the Sabbath is the sacred faith. One cannot exist without the other. You must impress the subconscious mind, and then you must leave it alone to do its work, just as you must plant a seed and then let the earth rest to do its magic. This is the divine rhythm of creation. Plant your seed in the winter of your contemplation, and then enter the spring of your Sabbath, trusting in the summer harvest that is sure to come. This sacred state of rest, this quiet confidence that all is well, is not an empty space. It must be filled with a specific quality of consciousness to protect it from the intrusions of the world's doubts and fears. The Sabbath is nourished, it is maintained, and it is made resilient by the most beautiful and magnetic of all human feelings. It is sustained by the gentle, the constant, and the transformative power of gratitude. You have entered the Sabbath. You have ceased from your anxious labor and are resting in the quiet, confident knowing that your creative act is finished in the unseen. This sacred state of rest is not a void, it is a vessel, and its substance, the energy that fills it, protects it, and gives it its magnetic power, is gratitude. Gratitude, in the world of the Creator, is not what you have been taught. It is not a polite "thank you" said in response to a gift received. That is reactive gratitude, a beautiful but worldly courtesy. The gratitude we speak of here is creative gratitude. It is the alchemical agent that turns your imaginal act into golden, tangible reality. It is the art of feeling thankful before the evidence of the senses has appeared. Creative gratitude is the language of accomplished faith. It is the signal you send into the quantum field that the transaction is complete, that the gift has been received in spirit, and that you are joyfully ready for its physical appearance. To feel gratitude for your fulfilled desire is to close the circuit between the seen and the unseen. It is the final, resonant yes in the creative conversation between you and the universe. To pray in assumption is to ask believing you have already received. To feel gratitude is to confirm that you have received. It is this feeling that dissolves the final veils of separation and quickens the birth of your desire in the world of form. Let us imagine your consciousness as a powerful magnet. In its neutral state, its pull is gentle and indiscriminate, but your emotional states dramatically alter its polarity and its power. Fear and resentment create a chaotic, repelling field, pushing away the very good you desire. Anxious wanting creates a fluctuating, unstable pull, attracting and repelling in a frustrating rhythm. But gratitude, true, deep, heartfelt gratitude, is the act of plugging this magnet into an infinite power source. It supercharges your entire being, aligning every particle of your consciousness in one powerful, coherent, and irresistible direction. This practice is twofold. First, you must master gratitude for what is. Before you can effectively feel thankful for that which is not yet seen, you must cultivate a profound appreciation for that which is already before you. This is the foundation. The ego's default state is one of lack. It scans the horizon for what is missing. Gratitude is the conscious discipline of turning your attention to what is present. Right now, in this moment, feel a wave of thankfulness for the simple fact of your breath, this effortless gift of life that flows in and out without your command. Feel gratitude for the chair or bed that is supporting your body, a testament to a world of commerce and creation that brought it to you. Feel gratitude for the technology that allows these words to reach your ears across space and time. To practice this is to anchor yourself in the abundance that already surrounds you. It is to say to the universe, I see the gifts you have already given me. I am a good steward of your blessings. How can you expect to receive a feast when you have not given thanks for the simple crust of bread before you? Gratitude for what is opens the channels of receiving. It demonstrates that you are ready for more. Spend time each day in this state, letting the feeling of thankfulness for the small, ordinary miracles of your life wash over you. This practice by itself will begin to shift your reality. Once you have established this foundation, you are ready for the second, more potent form of the practice. Gratitude for what is done. This is the alchemy. This is you standing at the end of your creative journey and giving thanks. You close your eyes, and instead of visualizing your desire with effort, you simply allow the feeling of gratitude for its fulfillment to permeate your being. You do not thank the universe for giving it to you, as that places it in the future. You simply enter the state of thankfulness that it is so. Thank you, Father, that it is done. Feel the relief. Feel the joy. Feel the simple, profound gratitude of a prayer that has already been answered. This feeling, this creative gratitude, is the most powerful magnetic force in the universe. Like attracts like. The feeling of being blessed can only attract more blessings. The feeling of being whole can only attract experiences of wholeness. The feeling of being abundant can only attract evidence of abundance. You are tuning your magnet to the specific frequency of your fulfilled desire, and that reality, which is already broadcasting, now has no choice but to be drawn powerfully into your experience. This sustained state of gratitude also serves as a powerful shield and a solvent. It is a shield that protects your Sabbath. When you are living in a state of thankfulness, the doubts and fears of the world find it much harder to penetrate your consciousness. Your high-frequency energy of gratitude creates a protective aura around your new creation, shielding it from the low-frequency energies of worry and negativity. An anxious thought cannot easily take root in a mind that is genuinely occupied with giving thanks. It is also a powerful solvent that dissolves the ego's poisons. You cannot be truly, deeply grateful and simultaneously harbor resentment. The two states cannot coexist. When you feel a surge of gratitude for the simple fact of being alive, the bitterness of an old grievance begins to lose its power. Its sharp edges are softened. The emotional charge is neutralized. Gratitude cleanses the inner world, healing old wounds and making the soil of your mind fertile for the beautiful things you now wish to plant. It is the ultimate antidote to the ego's story of victimhood. A grateful heart cannot be a victim. Therefore, live in gratitude. Make it your dwelling place. Begin your day by listing in your heart the things you are thankful for, both seen and unseen. End your day by falling asleep in the blissful feeling of thanks for all the blessings that are yours. Now, when you walk through your day, look for reasons to be thankful. The smile of a stranger, the warmth of the sun, the comfort of your home. Let each one be a reminder to return to this state of grace. Live in this way, and your world will have no choice but to transform itself into a constant source of things to be thankful for. This is the beautiful, benevolent, self-perpetuating loop of creation. When you begin to live in this state of profound gratitude, not just for your desires, but for the miracle of existence itself, your entire perception of reality begins to shift. You start to see the sacred in the mundane, the miraculous in the ordinary. Your relationship with everything, including your own self, undergoes a transformation. And you begin to realize that the very vessel which carries you through this incredible journey, the physical form you inhabit, is not just a biological machine of flesh and bone. You realize it is a holy place. It is a sacred temple. As you learn to inhabit a state of profound gratitude, your perception of the world softens and deepens. The hard edges of reality dissolve, and you begin to perceive the sacred in all things. This perception must inevitably turn inward, toward the very vessel that carries you on this magnificent journey of discovery. For too long, you have been taught to see your body as a machine, a biological vehicle that is separate from your true self, your consciousness. You have been taught to command it, to discipline it, to judge it, to fight it, and to view it as a source of trouble, or a project for endless improvement. This creates a state of internal warfare. This must end now, for this separation is an illusion. Your body is not a machine you inhabit. It is a living, breathing, intelligent aspect of your own consciousness made visible. It is a microcosm of the universe, a holy place where spirit and matter embrace. It is your sacred temple. To awaken as the Creator is to make peace with your temple, to end the war and begin a loving partnership. You do not have a body. You are a body, just as you are a mind and a spirit. It is all one unified, intelligent field of being. This understanding is the key to unlocking a new level of creative power. For your physical health and your spiritual energy are not separate things. They are inextricably linked. Let us use the metaphor of a master musician and their priceless instrument. Imagine a world-renowned violinist who plays a Stradivarius. They do not see the violin as mere wood and string. It is a sacred object, a partner in the creation of beauty. They handle it with reverence. They keep it clean, protect it from harm, and most importantly, they tune it with exquisite care and sensitivity before every performance. They do this not just to preserve the instrument, but because they know a profound truth. The quality of the music they can produce is utterly dependent on the condition of the instrument. No matter how brilliant the melody in the musician's mind, a neglected, out-of-tune violin can only produce a dissonant, painful sound. You are the master musician. Your consciousness, your imagination, holds the divine melody of your fulfilled desire. Your body is your Stradivarius. It is the sacred instrument through which the music of your consciousness must be played into the physical world. If your instrument is constantly flooded with the dissonance of stress hormones, if its strings are frayed by poor nutrition and lack of rest, if it is clogged with the residue of unprocessed emotions, how can you expect it to play the high-frequency symphony of peace, love, and abundance? It cannot. It will continue to play the familiar, dissonant tune of your old state of being. To care for your body, to nourish it, to move it, to allow it to rest is not an act of vanity. It is an act of profound spiritual responsibility. It is the work of tuning your sacred instrument so that it may become a clear and powerful channel for the new reality you are creating. Your body is far more than a passive instrument. It is an intelligent storehouse of wisdom. It is, in a very real sense, the physical manifestation of your subconscious mind. Every experience you have ever had, every joy and every trauma, is not just stored as a memory in your brain. It is stored as an energetic and cellular memory in the tissues of your body. That chronic tension in your shoulders is the physical residue of years of carrying burdens. That knot in your stomach is the echo of old fears. That tightness in your chest is the armor you built around a wounded heart. Your body remembers everything. This is why true creation requires a physical release. As you create a new reality in your imagination, you must also create space for it in your body. You must release the old, dense energies of the past to make way for the new, high-frequency energies of your future. This is why practices like deep, conscious breathing are so powerful. With every deep inhale, you can imagine drawing in the energy of your new reality. With every long, slow exhale, you can intend to release the old stories, the old tensions, the old fears from your cells. Practices like yoga, dance, or even a simple walk in nature are not just exercise. They are forms of prayer for the body. They are ways of clearing the temple, of releasing the stored dissonance, of making your physical form a more harmonious and receptive vessel for the spirit. You must release your body from its past so it can become the anchor for your future. You must breathe peace into the cells that hold fear, and love into the places that have been braced for impact for far too long. As you begin to treat your body with this reverence, you will discover that it has a language of its own, a language that speaks not in words, but in sensations. It is constantly communicating with you, offering you wisdom and guidance. The gut feeling that tells you something is right or wrong, the sudden shiver down your spine that confirms a deep truth, The feeling of expansion and lightness in your chest when you contemplate a joyful possibility, and the feeling of contraction and heaviness when you consider something that is not in alignment with your soul. This is not random noise. This is the voice of your body's innate intelligence. Your work is to learn to listen, to cultivate a practice of somatic awareness. Several times a day, pause, close your eyes, and bring your attention inward. Ask your body, what are you feeling right now? Do not judge the answer. Simply notice. Notice the tension, the relaxation, the warmth, the coolness. As you do this, you build a bridge of trust between your conscious mind and your body's deep wisdom. You transform it from a mute object to be managed into a wise and trusted counselor. It becomes your most reliable ally on your creative journey, constantly giving you feedback on whether you are in alignment with your desires. Treat your body not as a beast of burden to be whipped into shape, but as a beloved temple to be cared for and honored. Nourish it with clean food and water. Move it with joy. Allow it the deep rest it requires to regenerate. Listen to its subtle whispers. When you honor your body in this way, it ceases to be a source of problems and becomes a source of power. It becomes a finely tuned, resonant instrument, capable of holding and amplifying the highest frequencies you can imagine. It becomes a clear and powerful conduit for the divine music you wish to bring forth into the world. This sacred temple, this wise and living counselor, is equipped with its own internal navigation system, a subtle and unerring guide that speaks not in the loud, clanging language of logic, but in the quiet, certain whispers of knowing. This system is the voice of your own divine self, the compass of the soul. It is your intuition. Within the sacred temple of your body, there is a silent chamber, a holy of holies where the noise of the world and the chatter of the rational mind cannot enter. In this chamber resides your own personal oracle, your direct line to the infinite intelligence of the universe. It is a subtle and unerring guidance system, a compass for the soul. This system is your intuition. It is not a strange or supernatural power reserved for a select few. It is your birthright. It is the natural, unspoken language of your higher self, the creator within you, whispering its secrets and its guidance into the heart of your conscious awareness. For your entire life, you have been trained to trust only your intellect. The intellect is the logical mind, the part of you that analyzes, compares, debates, and calculates. It is a powerful and useful tool for navigating the material world, but its vision is profoundly limited. The intellect is like a historian. It can only work with data from the past. It looks at what has been, and from that, it projects what is likely to be. Its voice is often loud, anxious, and filled with the clamor of pros and cons. It is the source of worry. Intuition is the opposite. It is the artist, the visionary. It does not work with past data. It receives a direct impression of the future as a present reality. Its voice is not loud. It is a still, small voice, a quiet, calm, unshakable knowing. It does not argue. It simply presents itself as truth. To awaken as the creator is to learn to quiet the loud historian in your head, so you can finally hear the gentle, wise whisper of the artist in your heart. Let us use a metaphor to understand this relationship. Imagine your life's journey as a vast landscape, and your desire is the great, life-giving ocean on the far shore. Your rational mind, your intellect, is a small boat traveling on a river on the surface of this land. The boatman, your ego, can only see as far as the next bend. He navigates using old maps created by other boatmen, your past experience and the experience of others. His journey is often long and arduous. He gets stuck in the shallows of doubt, he takes many wrong turns down tributary rivers of distraction, and he is constantly at the mercy of the visible currents and weather patterns. But deep beneath the surface of this land, there is a vast, powerful, underground river. This river is your intuition. It does not meander. It does not concern itself with the surface obstacles. It flows directly, powerfully, and unerringly toward the great ocean, for it is already part of it. It knows the shortest, safest, and most effortless path. As the creator, you have a choice. You can remain in the small boat on the surface, trusting only what you can see, limited by the maps of the past. Or you can learn to attune yourself to the great river flowing beneath. You cannot see this river, but you can feel its presence. You feel it as a subtle coolness in the soil, a deep vibration under your feet, a sudden inner pull in a certain direction. These are your intuitive hits. To trust your intuition is to have the courage to leave the familiar boat and to begin walking across the land, following these subtle, non-logical signs, knowing they are tracing the course of this hidden, mighty current. To the boatman, it looks like madness, but it is the most direct path home. The greatest challenge is learning to distinguish the true voice of intuition from its counterfeits, the voice of fear and the voice of wishful thinking, both of which are products of the ego. The voice of fear is loud, frantic, and demanding. It often uses what-if scenarios rooted in past pain. What if you fail like you did before? What if they reject you? It feels heavy, constricting, and anxious in your body. It creates a sense of urgency, pressuring you to act out of panic. The voice of wishful thinking can also be loud and emotional, but it feels giddy and needy. It is the fantasy of the ego, rooted in a deep sense of lack. It feels exciting but unsubstantial, like a sugar high. The true voice of intuition is utterly different. It is almost always quiet, calm, and emotionally neutral. It often comes as a simple, clear, spontaneous thought, image, or feeling. A sudden urge to call a friend. A clear knowing that you should turn left instead of right. An image of a book you need to read. There is no frantic energy attached to it. It does not try to convince you with logic. It simply presents itself, and it is always accompanied by a subtle feeling of peace, of rightness, even if the guidance itself seems strange or illogical. It feels expansive in the body, like a quiet opening in the chest. It does not shout for your attention. It waits patiently to be heard. You can cultivate and strengthen this faculty. The first requirement is stillness. You cannot hear a whisper in a hurricane. You must create moments of inner silence in your day. Through meditation, through a quiet walk in nature, through simply sitting and breathing, you quiet the noisy boatman and create the space to feel the deep current beneath. The second practice is to ask and release. Before you sleep, or as you enter meditation, you can pose a question to your deeper self. Show me the next step. What is the truth of this situation? Do not demand an immediate answer. Simply release the question into the silence and let it go. Be open and observant in the hours and days that follow. The answer may come in a dream, in the words of a song, in a sudden insight as you are doing something else entirely. Finally, you must build the muscle of trust. Begin by trusting your intuition on small, low-stakes matters. If you get a nudge to take a different route home, take it without asking why. If you feel a sudden aversion to a food you normally like, choose something else. If you feel a gentle pull toward a certain person at a gathering, follow it. As you act on these small guidances and witness the effortless, positive synchronicity that unfolds, you are building a track record. You are proving to your conscious mind that this inner compass is reliable. This builds the faith you will need to trust it when it guides you toward bigger, more life-changing decisions. Your intellect is the map of the world as it has been. Your intuition is the compass pointing to the world that you have created in your imagination. To learn to follow it is to walk in absolute faith. It is to trust that you are being guided, step by step, along the invisible bridge of incidents that leads directly to your desire. You are being guided home by the part of you that already knows the way. As you learn to trust this inner guidance, which operates outside of logical sequence, you begin to question the very framework that logic is built upon. You begin to see that the linear, clockwork progression of past, present, and future is not a fundamental law of the universe, but merely a perception. Trusting your intuition helps you dismantle the greatest illusion that hinders creation, the illusion of time. As you learn to trust the timeless, non-linear guidance of your intuition, you are led naturally to question the very framework that has governed your perception of reality. You begin to sense that the rigid clockwork march of past, present, and future is not the fundamental law of the universe, but rather a utility of the physical senses, a self-imposed prison of the human mind. This prison of linear time is the source of all impatience, all regret, and all anxiety. Regret is being chained to the past. Anxiety is being chained to the future. Both are illusions that rob you of the only point of power you will ever have, the eternal creative moment of now. To be free from the illusion of time is to be free to create without limit. Let us dismantle this illusion with a metaphor. Imagine that all of reality, everything that ever has been and ever will be, exists like a single, complete roll of film. If you were to unspool this roll and hold it up to the light, you would see every single frame simultaneously. The frame of your birth is there. The frame of this present moment is there. The frame of your last moment on earth is there. The frame of your greatest triumph and your deepest sorrow all coexist right now as static, finished potentials on this infinite strip of celluloid. The entire story is already complete. Nothing is being created, and nothing is being destroyed. Everything simply is. Now, who is the operator of the projector? You are. Your consciousness, your focused awareness, is the brilliant light of the projector. The frame which you are illuminating with the light of your awareness is the one you experience as the present moment. The frames the light has just moved past are what you call the past, and they fade into memory. The frames that lie ahead on the roll, still in darkness, are what you call the future. For your entire life, you have believed you were a helpless viewer, forced to watch the film unfold one frame at a time at a speed you could not control. But the great secret is that you are not the viewer. You are the projectionist, and you have the power to choose which frame to illuminate. The creative act is not the arduous process of manufacturing a new frame. It is the simple, powerful act of shifting the light of your consciousness from the frame you are currently experiencing, your present reality, to the frame that contains your fulfilled desire. How do you do this? You have already learned the tools. You do it with your imagination and your feeling. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are performing an act of incredible magic. You are reaching forward along the film roll, finding the frame where you are healthy, wealthy, or loved, and you are pulling it into the projector's light. You are choosing to experience that future reality now, in your own consciousness. This is why impatience is the ultimate saboteur of creation. The feeling of impatience is a powerful declaration that you are here and your desire is over there, in the future. It is the act of focusing the projector light intensely on the frame of not having, while wishing you were on the frame of having. This feeling of separation between you and your goal is the very time gap that you are seeking to eliminate. The only way to collapse time is to collapse this psychological gap. You do this by bringing the feeling of there into the here. You stop waiting for a future event to give you the feeling you desire, and you consciously generate that feeling within yourself right now. When you successfully embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled in this present moment, you have fused the future frame with the present frame. In the timeless realm of consciousness where all creation takes place, you have declared that your future is your now. The physical world, which moves at a slower vibrational speed, must then begin to rearrange itself to conform to this new projection. The time it takes for your desire to appear in the physical world is nothing more than the time it takes for you to achieve a stable and natural sense of conviction in your new state of being. The delay is not in the universe. The delay is in you. It is the time it takes for you to stop jumping back and forth shining your light on the old frame of lack one moment and the new frame of abundance the next. When you can consistently and peacefully rest in the light of the new frame, its projection onto the screen of your world is inevitable. This understanding transforms your relationship with both the past and the future. The past is not behind you. It is simply a collection of frames on the film roll that you keep revisiting and re-illuminating with your attention through memory and regret. The practice of revision is the powerful art of going back to those old frames and changing the quality of the light you shine upon them. You reimagine the event, you change the feeling, and in doing so, you alter the very fabric of that past moment in the only place it has ever existed, your consciousness. You redeem the past by reprojecting it. The future is not a terrifying void or a predetermined path. It is an infinite series of potential frames waiting in the darkness. To worry is to use your creative power to shine the projector's light on the frames of disaster and failure. It is to pre-live a tragedy. To create consciously is to deliberately choose the frame of your highest desire, the one where you are whole, joyous, and free, and to illuminate it with your unwavering attention and feeling, long before it becomes your physical present moment. All power resides in the now. The now is the only place where the projector is plugged in. You cannot create from the past or from the future. You can only create in this eternal, ever-present moment. So, release yourself from the prison of the timeline. Stop seeing your life as a linear struggle from point A to point B. See it instead as a vast, still ocean of potential moments, an infinite film roll of possibilities. You are not the boat being swept along by the current of time. You are the lighthouse, choosing where to cast your beam. Cease trying to get to the future. Instead, bring the future to you by embodying its feeling in this moment. Choose the state of being of your wish fulfilled now, and allow time and space, those obedient servants of consciousness, to bend and rearrange themselves to lead you there. As you escape from the prison of linear time and begin to understand that all realities and all moments exist simultaneously, you become ready to confront one of the most advanced and profound aspects of conscious creation. You are ready to understand your relationship with the other actors on your stage, the other figures in the frame you are illuminating. You are ready to understand how they, too, are a perfect reflection of the state you have chosen to occupy. You are ready to grasp the world-altering concept that everyone is you, pushed out. Having liberated yourself from the prison of linear time, you now stand in the eternal now, the sole point of creative power. You understand that you can select any reality, any frame from the infinite film roll of existence and make it your present. But as you look at this frame, you see it is not empty. It is populated with other people, your parents, your children, your colleagues, your partner, the stranger on the street. These figures seem to be the great variable, the one element outside of your creative control. They have their own minds, their own wills, their own desires. How can your world truly be your creation when it is filled with these independent agents? This is the final frontier of understanding for the conscious creator. It is where the rational mind often erects its most formidable fortress of resistance. What you are about to hear may challenge the very foundation of how you see yourself and your relationship to others. It is the key to all harmonious relationships and the source of ultimate personal freedom. The principle is this: everyone is you pushed out. Let us unpack this profound statement carefully. It does not mean that other people have no consciousness of their own. It does not mean they are mindless puppets. On their own journey, in their own reality, they are creators, just as you are. But in your reality, on the stage of your life, they show up and play the part that you have unconsciously assigned to them. The behavior of another person, as you experience it, is a direct reflection of your own deep-seated assumptions about them, about yourself in relation to them, and about people in general. The world is a mirror, and other people are the most detailed and active parts of that reflection. They are messengers, showing you, with perfect, unwavering accuracy, the content of your own consciousness. Imagine your life as a grand play. You are not merely the lead actor. You are the playwright, the director, and the producer. Your subconscious mind is the vast, well-equipped stage. The people in your life are the brilliant cast of actors you have hired. They are incredibly versatile. They can play the hero or the villain, the loving supporter or the cruel betrayer. They have the range to play any part you can conceive. So, how do they know which role to play in your production? They are given a script. This script is not written on paper. It is written in the invisible ink of your own assumptions. If you hold a deep, persistent assumption that my boss never appreciates my work, the talented actor playing the part of your boss is given that script, and they will deliver a flawless performance of an unappreciative boss. They will overlook your successes and highlight your failures, not because they are inherently a bad person, but because they are faithfully playing the part you have assigned them on your stage. If you hold an assumption that my partner is distant, the actor playing your partner will dutifully perform the role of a distant lover. You have directed them to do so with the power of your own beliefs. For years, you have been running onto the stage in the middle of the play and yelling at the actors. You have been arguing with them, pleading with them to change their lines, to play a different part. You have been trying to force the actor playing the villain to suddenly become the hero. And you have been met with nothing but frustration because they are only doing their job. They are playing the role you wrote. The master director knows this is folly. The master director does not fight with the actors. To change the performance, they go backstage, into the quiet of their own mind, into the writer's room of their imagination, and they rewrite the script. This is how you change others. You do not try to change them in the outer world. You change your conception of them within yourself. You must be radically honest. What is the script you are currently holding for this person? Forget what you think you should believe. What do you really believe about them? That they are untrustworthy? That they are critical? That they will always disappoint you? That is the character you have created. Now, you must write a new one. What is the new role you wish them to play? Supportive? Loving? Appreciative? Kind? Once you have the new script, you must direct the rehearsal in the theater of your imagination. You construct a short, simple scene that implies this new script is now reality. Do not imagine yourself lecturing the person on how they should change. Imagine a scene where they are already naturally embodying their new role. Imagine hearing that critical person give you a sincere compliment. Imagine that distant partner holding you close and whispering words of love. Imagine your boss calling you in to praise your invaluable contribution. You must run this scene in your imagination, saturating it with the feeling of its reality until it feels more real than the old, tired drama you have been living. When you do this, you are handing your actor a new script, and they, being perfect reflectors of your consciousness, must begin to play the new part. Their behavior in your world will begin to change. They may say the words you imagined. They may perform the actions you rehearsed. Or they may drift out of your life, their old contract complete, making way for a new actor to come in and play the loving, supportive role you have now created. The method does not matter. The change in your conception is the cause. The change in your world is the effect. This teaching carries with it a profound responsibility, and it is crucial that it is not mistaken for blame. You are not to blame for any mistreatment you have endured in the past. To feel guilt is to remain trapped in the ego's game. The old you, operating unconsciously, did not know you were the director. You were an actor who thought you were at the mercy of the other actors. Now you know the truth. You are not to blame for the old scripts, but you are 100% responsible for the scripts you write from this moment forward. This is the ultimate empowerment. You are no longer a victim. You are never again at the mercy of another person's mood or behavior. The power to transform every single relationship in your life resides entirely within the quiet of your own mind. You no longer need to wait for an apology that will never come. You can revise the past and give yourself the apology in your imagination. You no longer need to wait for someone to change. You change them in your mind, and they will either conform or depart. See others not as the source of your joy or your pain, but as divine messengers, as mirrors, as cooperative actors faithfully showing you the contents of your own heart. Love them for their perfect performance. And if you desire to see a new play, have the courage to sit down and write them a more beautiful, more loving part. This profound and challenging understanding that the other is a reflection of the self removes the very illusion of separation. It collapses the walls between you and the world and leads you to the ultimate law of existence, the foundational truth upon which all reality is built. It leads you to the law of one. You have journeyed to the edge of the personal universe. You have peeled back the layers of illusion, understood the power of your inner states, and reclaimed your authority from the past, from the ego, and from the tyranny of time. You have even accepted the most challenging of truths, that everyone in your world is a reflection of your own consciousness. This realization dissolves the hard walls of the separate self and prepares you to receive the final, ultimate key to all mystery. It is the foundational law upon which all other principles rest. It is the truth that underlies every atom, every star, every thought. It is the law of one. The law of one is devastatingly simple. There is only one thing. There is not a universe filled with billions of separate beings and objects. There is one being, one consciousness, one mind, one spirit, expressing itself in a countless variety of forms. Everything you see, everything you touch, everything you are, is a temporary modification of this single, infinite being. You are not a drop of water in the ocean of existence. You are the entire ocean, expressing itself for a time as a single beautiful drop. The awareness, looking out through your eyes this very moment, is the same. Single awareness that animates every person, every animal, every plant. There is no separation. There is only one of us here. This is the point where all true spiritual paths and even the frontiers of science converge. Mystics have called it God, Brahman, the Tao, the Absolute. Physicists touch upon it with their theories of a unified field. It is the ultimate reality, the great I Am. And you are not separate from it. You are it, experiencing itself subjectively. This is the great paradox and the great glory of your existence. You are both the individual creator of your own phenomenal world and a seamless, integral part of the one universal creator. To grasp this, let us use the metaphor of the ocean and the wave. Imagine the vast, boundless, peaceful ocean. This is the one consciousness in its unmanifested state. Now, the wind of divine desire blows across its surface, and the ocean rises up to express itself as billions upon billions of individual waves. Each wave has a unique form, a unique size, a unique journey, a unique lifespan. It appears to be a separate thing. A wave might look at the wave next to it and feel smaller, or larger, or more powerful. It might fear crashing upon the shore. It might feel lonely in the vastness. This is the experience of the ego, the illusion of the separate self. But what is the wave truly made of? Is it made of something different from the ocean? Number. It is made of ocean. Its entire substance, its every molecule, is the one water. It is not in the ocean. It is the ocean, expressing itself as a wave. The separation it perceives is a beautiful but temporary illusion of form. Soon, it will return to the boundless deep, not in death, but in remembrance of its true nature. So it is with you. You are not a human who has a soul. You are the one soul, the one consciousness, expressing itself for a while as a human. The form is temporary, the essence is eternal. And the essence of your neighbor, your enemy, your lover, is the very same essence as yours. This understanding transforms all of morality from a set of external rules into a simple, practical law of your own being. The great teachers have told you, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This was not merely ethical advice. It was a literal, metaphysical instruction manual for a creator. Because there is only one of us here, what you do unto another, you are quite literally doing unto yourself. To hold a hateful thought toward another person is to pour poison into the one stream of consciousness from which you must also drink. To judge another is to judge a part of yourself. The negative energy you direct outward must, by law, circle back and find its home in you, for you are not separate from the target of your condemnation. Conversely, and most beautifully, to bless another is to bless yourself. To wish love, health, and abundance for another person, even someone you believe has wronged you, is to generate that reality within the one mind. Since you are an inseparable part of that mind, you create a powerful vortex that draws those very things into your own experience. This is why forgiving others is essential for your own freedom. Forgiveness acknowledges the oneness. It is the act of healing a fractured part of your own consciousness. This is also why changing your conception of another person changes their behavior toward you. You are not manipulating a separate being. You are healing the idea of them that exists within the one mind, and their form must then reflect that healing. This law refines your entire approach to creation. It invites you to create from a place of love for the whole, because the whole is you. A desire that comes from the ego's need to be better than, to dominate, or to take from another, creates a jarring, dissonant note in the symphony of the one. Such desires, if manifested, often bring with them a hidden price of inner conflict. But a desire that comes from your heart's wish to express more beauty, to share more love, to create more joy, is in harmony with the nature of the one. These desires manifest with grace and ease, and their fulfillment blesses everyone, because they are an enrichment of the one being we all share. This is the end of all loneliness. In the light of this truth, you can never be alone again. The entire universe is your own self, playing in a billion different forms. The tree outside your window is you, expressed as a tree. The star in the night sky is you, shining as a star. The person you love most in the world is you, loving yourself back. Even the person who challenges you most is you, providing the perfect friction to polish the diamond of your own soul. You are the wave, unique and exquisite in your temporary form, and you are the ocean, infinite, eternal, and whole. The journey of life is not about the wave struggling to become something better. It is simply about the wave awakening to its own vast oceanic nature. When you begin to truly live from this awareness of oneness, your entire interaction with reality is transformed. You no longer see a world of fragmented objects, competing interests, and separate, threatening people. You begin to look upon the world with new eyes. You begin to see with the all-encompassing, all-loving perspective of the Creator. You begin to see the world through the eyes of God. You have journeyed to the heart of the great mystery and discovered the foundational truth of existence, the law of one. You have understood that you are not a separate being adrift in a random universe, but a unique and precious expression of the one consciousness that is all that is. This is not merely an intellectual concept to be admired. It is a key that unlocks a new faculty of perception, a new way of seeing. To truly grasp the law of one is to begin to see the world for the first time, not through the small, judgmental eyes of the ego, but through the vast, compassionate, and all-encompassing eyes of the Creator. It is to see the world through the eyes of God. The vision of the ego is the vision of separation. It slices reality into a million conflicting pieces. This is me, that is you. This is good, that is bad. This is a friend, that is an enemy. This is a success, that is a failure. This fractured way of seeing is the source of all conflict, all judgment, and all fear. It is the lens that creates a world of problems to be solved and enemies to be defeated. But when you look through the eyes of God, the eyes of oneness, the world of separation dissolves. You no longer see a collection of disparate objects and beings. You see only the one self, the one consciousness, dancing in a kaleidoscope of forms. You see the one life living in every person, every animal, every tree. The world ceases to be a battlefield and reveals itself as a playground, a work of art, a divine expression of your own deepest being. To understand this shift in perception, let us return to our metaphor of the gardener. The gardener, operating from the ego mind, the mind of separation, walks through his garden and sees a flower that is withered and brown. He instantly judges the flower. He points a finger and says, "You are a bad flower. You are failing. You are flawed." He might get angry at the flower, shake it, or even rip it from the ground in frustration, seeing it as a problem that must be eliminated. He believes the fault lies entirely within the flower itself. But the wise gardener, the one who sees with the eyes of the whole, looks at the same withered flower, and their heart is filled not with judgment, but with compassion. They do not blame the flower for a moment. They know the flower is a perfect and honest expression of its current conditions. So, instead of focusing on the problem of the flower, they turn their attention to the environment that sustains it. They kneel down and feel the soil. Is it dry and hard? Is it lacking in nutrients? They look to the sky. Has there been enough rain? Is the flower being scorched by too much sun, or is it starved of light in the shadow of a larger plant? The wise gardener knows that to heal the flower, they must first heal the conditions that are causing it to wither. They must enrich the soil, provide the water, and adjust the light. The withered flowers in your life are those people and circumstances that cause you distress. The critical boss, the financial lack, the persistent health issue. For years, you have been acting like the first gardener, blaming the flower. You have focused on the person or the condition as the source of the problem. But to see with the eyes of God is to become the wise gardener. It is to look at the difficult person or the challenging situation with compassion, and to realize it is a perfect reflection of your inner conditions. You immediately turn your attention inward. You examine the soil of your own assumptions. What beliefs am I holding that are creating this reflection? You check the water of your feelings. Am I constantly irrigating this situation with feelings of fear, resentment, or lack? You assess the light of your attention. Am I focusing all my creative energy on the problem or on the solution? To change the outer world, you stop trying to fix the flower. You lovingly tend to your own inner garden. This way of seeing is the end of all judgment. Judgment is a violent act of separation. It is the ego drawing a line in the sand and declaring, "I am on the right side, and you are on the wrong side." This act reinforces the ego's fragile identity, but it is a prison for the soul. When you truly know that the other is an expression of the same one self that you are, how can you condemn them? To judge them is to condemn a part of yourself. The person who acts out of anger is the one self expressing the painful energy of anger. The person who acts out of greed is the one self caught in the illusion of lack. This does not mean you must condone or tolerate harmful behavior. The wise gardener may lovingly build a fence to protect a delicate plant from a storm. You can and should set healthy boundaries. But the interaction is different. You no longer see the other as an evil adversary. You see them as a part of your own being that is suffering, that is lost in confusion, that has forgotten its own divinity. This allows you to respond with wisdom and compassion rather than with blind, reactive anger. You are free from the toxic burden of hatred. You are no longer chained to those who have hurt you. You see their actions as a reflection of a state of consciousness, a state you can now choose to heal within yourself. From this new vantage point, the very concept of a problem transforms. A problem is no longer an obstacle on your path. It is the path itself. Every challenge that appears in your life is a gift from a loving universe. It is a powerful mirror, showing you with perfect clarity the exact belief within you that is ready to be healed. The financial struggle is a divine opportunity to finally, truly cultivate the inner state of unconditional abundance. The difficult relationship is a master class in practicing unconditional love and revising your assumptions about others. The health issue is a sacred invitation to come home to your body and to connect with the inherent perfection of your spiritual form. Every challenge is your guru, pointing the way back to your own forgotten power. To see the world through the eyes of God is to know that nothing is against you. It is to understand that all things are working together for your awakening. It is to walk through the world with a quiet, unshakable peace, knowing that every person and every circumstance is a part of your own magnificent, unfolding self. You see the one self playing all the parts, dancing in all the forms, singing in all the voices. And in seeing this, you cannot help but fall deeply in love with your own creation. This journey of understanding from the mirror of the world, through the power of your imagination, to the ultimate truth of oneness, a great circle. It leads you right back to where you began, but to the deepest, most powerful aspect of your own being. It leads you to the conscious and deliberate embodiment of the two most powerful words in existence. It leads you to the state of I am. You have journeyed from the outer world of reflections to the inner world of cause. You have learned to wield the tools of imagination and feeling, to detach from the past, to see through the illusion of the ego, to befriend doubt, and to understand the timeless, unified nature of all reality. You have come to see the world not as a foreign land, but as a mirror of yourself, and to see others not as strangers, but as your own being, pushed out. This entire journey, from the circumference of experience to the center of power, leads to one single luminous point. It leads you back to the name of God, which is the name of your own awareness. It leads you to the conscious embodiment of the two most powerful words in existence, I am. These are not just words, they are a declaration of being. In the ancient scriptures, when the prophet Moses asks the burning bush for the name of the ultimate power, the answer is not a name like those of men. The answer is a statement of being. I am that I am. This is the ultimate secret, hidden in plain sight. The name of the one, infinite creator, is the very feeling of your own existence. Before you are a man or a woman, before you are rich or poor, before you have a name or a history, you simply are. That background feeling of awareness, the silent, formless presence that is reading these words right now, is I am. It is God, experiencing life through you. For your entire life, you have been using this divine name, this creative power, unconsciously. You have been attaching it to every limitation and every negative state you can imagine, and in doing so, you have been commanding those states into existence. I am is the pure, formless clay of reality. The words that follow it are the mold into which you pour this divine substance. Every time you have said, I am so tired, I am broke, I am sick, I am lonely, you have taken the limitless power of God and forced it into a prison of limitation. You have made a divine declaration, an unbreakable law for your reality, and the universe, in its perfect obedience, has had no choice but to give you the experience of what you claim to be. The great shift from unconscious victim to conscious creator is the shift to becoming exquisitely aware of what you are attaching to the great I am. It is the sacred discipline of refusing to identify with anything you do not wish to amplify in your world. You no longer say, I feel fear, therefore I am a fearful person. You say, a feeling of fear is passing through me, but I am the changeless awareness in which it is happening. You stop saying, I have a problem. You start knowing, I am the solution to which this problem is the shadow. You do not hope to be abundant. You declare, I am abundance. You do not wish for love. You stand in the truth. I am love. This is the pinnacle of the art of assumption. It is claiming your true, unconditioned nature, and then allowing that nature to express itself as the conditions you desire. Let us use a final metaphor. The state of I am, your pure, unconditioned consciousness, is like the air you breathe. It is everywhere. It is essential for your life, yet you are so immersed in it that you are almost totally unaware of it. You do not have to fight for it, earn it, or deserve it. It is simply, freely, always available. Your mind, however, is not focused on the air. It is focused on the things moving through the air. The birds, the clouds, the smoke. These are your thoughts, your emotions, your problems, your desires. You have spent your life chasing the clouds, forgetting that your very life depends on the invisible air that makes their movement possible. The practice of mastery is to simply become aware of the air. It is to pause your frantic chase of the things in your mind and to turn your attention to the very medium in which they are appearing. It is to rest in the simple, silent, profound fact of your own being. Just I am, not I am this or I am that. Just the feeling of existence itself. This is the ultimate Sabbath. This is the return to the source. When you can rest in this pure I amness, you are resting in the heart of God. From this place of infinite potential, you can then gently and lovingly attach the quality you desire. You breathe in the pure air of I am, and you breathe out the form of your desire. I am peace. I am wholeness. I am freedom. To walk through the world in this state is to be utterly transformed. You are no longer a person defined by your history or your circumstances. You are, I am, walking. You are the divine consciousness, temporarily wearing the costume of your personality and your body. This brings a profound sense of fearlessness. What can harm I am? What can threaten pure being? All of life's circumstances, the good and the bad, become temporary weather patterns passing through the vast, imperturbable sky of your true nature. You know that you are the sky, not the clouds. When you interact with others, you are no longer just a person interacting with another person. You are I am, recognizing itself in another form. Judgment dissolves. The need to be right vanishes. You act from a place of deep peace and unshakable authority because you are anchored in the only reality there is. You stop trying to become something, and you relax into the truth of what you have always been. You are not a human being searching for a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being, I am, having a human experience. Your work is not to become God. Your work is to simply stop pretending that you are not. This great journey of the mind and spirit, through all its stages and revelations, from the mirror of the world to the heart of the Creator, ultimately leads you to this simple, profound, and silent center. This is the truth to which you must always return. This is the beginning and the end. I am. Let these words now settle. Let the lessons integrate into the very cells of your being. Let the journey become your new way of walking, of seeing, of being. And so, our journey of words comes to a gentle close. We have traveled far, not across miles, but through dimensions of consciousness. We have taken the light of awareness and shone it upon the mirrors of the world, the workshops of imagination, and the very fabric of reality itself. But these words are not the destination. They are merely fingers pointing to the moon. They are the echo of a truth that has always resided within you, in the silent, sacred chamber of your own heart. The real journey, the journey of being, begins now, in the quiet that follows. If you are to take away only one single realization from our time together, let it be this. Let all the techniques, the laws, and the steps dissolve for a moment and allow this truth to become the new ground of your being. You are not a fragile wave, born to struggle for a brief moment against a vast and indifferent ocean, only to be inevitably dashed upon the rocks. That is the story of the ego, the illusion of the separate self. The truth is infinitely more beautiful. You are the entire, boundless, eternal ocean, choosing to experience the thrill of existence through the unique and precious form of a single wave. The power that moves the galaxies is the very same power that beats your heart. The consciousness that imagines suns into being is the same consciousness that is hearing these words right now. You are not a small part of God. You are the totality of God, playing the magnificent part of you. As you go forward from this moment, carry this simple mantra in your heart. Let it be the first thought that greets you in the morning light. and the last whisper that lulls you to sleep. When the old shadows of doubt or fear arise, let this be the sword of truth that cuts them down. Silently or aloud, declare to yourself, I am the creator of my reality. I am the master of my inner world. There are no more words now. The rest of the teaching is not in my voice, but in the stillness that follows. It is in the gentle rhythm of your own breath. It is in the silent, spacious awareness that exists between your thoughts. This is your new practice. To let go of the seeking, the striving, the becoming, and to simply be. To rest in the magnificent truth of what you have always been. Be still and know. Be still and know that you are God.